Lock Aaron Clark. Back row was Kurt Capewell and Jacob Laban. The props and captains, James Fisher-Harris and Mitch Barnett. Of course, Barnett's Broncos bound next year. Wade Egan is their hooker. The bench is Sam Healy, Tanner Stowers Smith, Dimitri Kaimelnga, Eddie Iramia Tueva, Tane Tuapiki and Adam Pompey makes up the team for Andrew Webster's Warriors, who take their position in the southern half, the Milton Road end of Lang Park. For the Brisbane Broncos, fullback Reece Walsh, wingers Josiah Karapani and Grant Anderson, centres Kennedy Staggs and Dean Mariner, 5'8" Ezra Mam, halfback Tom Duffy, another opportunity for him. Lock and acting captain Paddy Carrigan, back row was Jaden Hunt and Jordan Rickey, props Xavier Willison and Payne Haas, hooker Billy Walters, bench is Ben Hunt, Albix Tafa, his first game since round 17. Jack Kajewski, here is Uncle Shannon Ruska.
Terrible country, Meangan, Brisbane City, and we call it Megangan. We'd like to welcome our Broncos here, the deadliest team in the world, and then we also want to welcome this deadly team here, the Auckland Warriors, who flew across to play on our neck of the woods. Yagara country, put your hands together for both the teams. Now tonight is one of the deadliest rounds ever. It's Indigenous round. We have some deadly cultures. We came out, we were able to share this stadium here with the Torres Strait Islanders and also the Maori in the tribal song and dance. Now in the welcome to countries and in the dancing, it's all about us. And the Warriors will agree, the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders will agree, that we like to pass on our knowledge from one generation to the other so that the culture dies out. So on that note, I'd like all our youth here tonight amongst us to take a couple of steps forward. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the audience and also the Maori, we ask you all to stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. We're going to get behind these young fellas here. We're going to get them to do a bit of a shake a leg. Now on the count of three, can you all say eight? 1, 2, 3. Now we need you to keep it in beat. We need you to clap your hands. And at the same time, as you're clapping your hands, we need you to go, aye, 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 aye.
Shannon Ruska holds court in the middle of Lang Park.
Country, deadly cultures, deadly round, deadly teams, deadly people.
He brings the whole thing to life in such a unique way. Shannon Ruska here in Brisbane. It is just fantastic. The rest of the Broncos bench is Jack Kajewski, Vijay Sevu, Blake Moser and Gernat Shibasaki. And our referee tonight will be Wyatt Raymond. Our touch officials Tyson Bruff and Daniel Schwass with Chris Bucky Butler in the bunker. There's a traditional gift exchange going on here as well. The Broncos and the Warriors not too far away here at Lang Park. Who's the more imposing pack here as well, Billy? Because that'll be a key battle as well for these two sides.
Yeah, without a doubt, Spriggy, you don't win this game, you don't win the middle of the park. Xavier Willison, the heir apparent, to take over from the great Payne Haas. They've got a duo tonight. They're paramount last week, had some good numbers in a losing team, and obviously Patrick Carrigan, who's just not playing himself.
Yeah.
His numbers aren't what they used to be the last couple of years. It's really important that he can deliver. Yeah, but they're up against a great pack. Fisher, Harris, Barnett, Aaron Clark, one of the great lock forwards. He gets very underrated. This will be a ripping contest there.
And Billy, the thing is, so Adam Reynolds, of course, we know he's retiring. There was a concussion issue, then the calf setback. Part of me thinks he's made peace with the fact there might not be a farewell game, which is a shame. And to that point, there's a little look to the future for the Broncos leadership? Who can be the leader into next year? Obviously, Pat Carrigan, the acting captain, there's a thought that someone like Tony Staggs could take it on. As an aside, Mitch Barnett not even be an option. Of course, the Warriors co-captain who will be a Bronco next year. Those are the things you look out for in this late stage of a season, don't you, when all hope is gone?
Yeah, definitely. You want to continue to finish the season on a strong note, but you're certainly looking to 2027. And that's why someone like Tom Duffy taking the reins from Adam Reynolds. In the next 2 or 3 rounds, you're better finding out whether he has the DNA to lead this team around the park, or is he basically not the option you're looking for, and therefore we've got to find someone else to fill the very, very crucial number 7 role.
Just about set to go here. Warriors will kick off. Broncos to have first use, running left to right, north to south from the Caxton Street end here at this famous cauldron. You can keep your texts coming as well. 0467 920 222. Earlier, Canberra beat the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks and Para beat the Cowboys most recently. Underway here, NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Warriors do kick off. Broncos to have first use. And Anderson, in fact, the winger takes the hit up here, bouncing off Halasima, and he'll roll it back 17 out from his own line, northern end. Dummy half Walters. Open side, he comes here now for Jordan Ricky. And of course, grew up in Christchurch. Speaking of the sort of the Kiwi connection to their opponents, the Warriors. Through centre field it comes as Carrigan feeds it to the left, and the tackle is made. Fisher Harris comes across in concert with Metcalf, and is the tackler there on Xavier Willison, who, by the way, is the only remaining Bronco to have played every game this year. There's no Ben Tolti tonight off the bench. Gamat Shibasaki's in that bench instead, and Xavier Willison's the only player who's played all 20 games so far for Michael Maguire's Broncos. End of the set, the Reece Walsh kick from 40 out goes high and long down through centre field, taken by Watanabe Lesniak, and he brings it up to the 20-metre line here. Runs laterally, ankle tap down there by Karapani, and the Warriors will go on the advance here, 20 out from their own line at Southern and Billy Moore. No scores on the first 70 seconds.
Yeah, the back five is so crucial for the Wars. They've got so much firepower that brings the ball forward, makes it easier on their forward pack. So look for some big games for the guys in the back line for the Wars.
Shifted across right to left here, and Catewell has claimed now 25 out from his own line. Running from dummy half, Egan steals a quick half dozen, but he's collared down there by Walters, opposite number. Flat ball from dummy half here onto the centre field steps of Aaron Clark, who of course used to call South East Queensland home as a Gold Coast Titan. And the kick from Metcalf will end the set here for the Warriors. It goes down towards that northeastern corner, picked off down there here by the Broncos and Karapani, and he's claimed 23 out from his own line, 20 in from the eastern side. Mam dummy half comes back blindside left, and no real gain here for Dean Mariner, who was among the try scorers against the Finns last week for the Broncos. What a game that was. Here they come over the 30-metre line here for the Broncos, and Jaden Hunt, and dragged back in there by strong Warriors defence. A couple left in the set as it's fed here to the run of Walsh. Can't get the pass to the outside, tackled by Barnett, and he'll play it 40 out from his own line here. Second last play here for the home side. Man back on the inside for Payne Haas, and he bounced off one tackler in there, and coming in from the side, Leah Tower. 5 shy of the halfway, 12 in eastern side, as it does come here now for Duffy. His first kick of the game. The Broncos half-back down towards that far southeastern corner. Nickel Klutster with his trademark hands through the air, guides it to his chest, and returns the 45 feet out from his own line at southern end here. No score Broncos Warriors. You're with Billy Moore alongside me, Brett Sprigg. Get to Zane Bojack very shortly. 25 out here, the Warriors from their own line. Roll back there by Alafiana Cantarera. Other winger here is Watanabe Lesniak, and now he's put down in that tackle. 35 out from his own line there by Jaden Hunt. They crawl towards halfway here with a couple left in the set. The Wars to Mitch Barnett, who's Brisbane bound next year, gets inside Broncos territory, 40 out centre field, rolls it back here for Egan, and he comes to the left-hand side now for Chanel Harris-Savita. Left foot kicker down towards that northwestern corner, taken there by Anderson, and he trots into the oncoming traffic there and will play it 8 out from his own line. Down to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for Green Anderson Laban getting a taste of his new side next year here tonight at Lang Park. Big crowd here, a bit pensive, Triggy. Not the same start the Broncos had against the Dolphins, but they're working into the grind nicely.
And they slip it across here right to left as Walsh links up down there with Dean Mariner, but he was clung to by Metcalf on the overlap as well. So now Mam dummy half across here to Karapani and tackled 22 out from his own line here, the Broncos winger. Walters dummy half, shapes to kick you there I thought, takes on Fisher Harris, gets it back to his fullback who does kick, Reece Walsh, over the halfway, down towards that 30-metre line, trapped there awkwardly by Charles Nicol-Klugstar, and the Warriors here return it towards that 40-metre line here in their old, well, we heard Auckland Warriors mentioned earlier, in their sort of old predominantly blue away strip here, the Warriors, and here's Khan Pereira attacking this western side. He's heaped back to the tackle of Jordan Ricky. 40 out, 20 in western side here of Lang Park. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport, as it will be second last play now for the Wars. Egan on halfway. Across to his right now for Barnett. Swats away the tackle there of Willison, but now put down there on the follow-up by Jaden Hunt. 40 out here. In fact, now it's the second last here for the Warriors. The last will come 30 out centre field now for the Warriors as Egan directs his pass across to the right-hand side. Up goes the kick from Metcalf. They'll all sort of chase it through the air. Karapani was tangled up down there on the aerial battle there with Jacob Laban, and the ball's come free here, and referee White Raymond says it will be change over here and back with the Broncos. 5 out from their own line at northern end, and no score so far in the first 5.5 minutes. Billy Moore.
Good arm wrestling by both sides. The Warriors have got into the groove as well as the Broncos. If there's anywhere I can see a deficiency in the Wars, it's the centres, their defence. Leotower and also Halasima, they're big men, but it's great in attack. Just not sure. I reckon the Broncos could catch them out on the outside.
25 out the Broncos here on tackle 3 as they crawl towards the 40-metre line here, and tackled ball and all down there is acting captain Carrigan. Dummy half Walters off to his right now. Pass releases Jordan Ricky. He bouncing over halfway and now slammed to the turf down there by Kurt Capewell, and will play it here for the Broncos. 30 out. Walters keeps it moving by foot. Kick comes infield from Staggs. Picked up by Martinez and Lesniak here, and the Warriors burst away beyond their own red zone, but Haas puts a stop to that. 30 out centre field here. It's still the Broncos and Warriors, no score. 6 minutes played in this first half. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Leotower here gets involved on tackle 3 now for the Warriors. 40 out from his own line. It comes across to Fisher Harris. He runs front on there into Carrigan and Jaden Hunt. And will now play it 6 short of the halfway. Egan directs it left-hand side now. Barnett steals 10, 11, 12. Standing the tackle of Payne Haas, who'll play it 40 out from the Broncos line. Warriors here through Egan. Inside ball comes from Harris to Vita. Back to one of those edge options. And the tackle is made down there on Halasima. Last play Warriors. Standing kick down there from Metcalf. It will fall 10 metres out. Walsh has lost it. Careful here, Broncos. Pounced on there in the corner. It was knocked on first by the Broncos. This will give ball to the Warriors deep in Brisbane's area at that Caxton Street end, and no score so far. Billy, the Warriors may still change that.
Yeah, great field vision off this mistake by Walsh. I actually thought it went backwards. I saw Zayna, does it go backwards?
This is the thing, Bill. So often we see it that if it comes off the hands, even if it goes to ground, they call it a knock-on. I reckon it went backwards, but Reece Walsh didn't want to pull the trigger for a captain's challenge, so it's a scrum feed for the Warriors, Friggy.
10 metres out directly in front. Thank you, Zeno. At the base of it, Egan comes back, direction it was fed, left-hand side. Harris to Vita, and now Khan Pereira. Put down here, 8 metres out from that Broncos line, left-hand side of the uprights. Harris to Vita. Goes wide here for Egan, and now Fisher Harris bounced off one tackle there of Carrigan. Broncos defence has to be strong here at that Caxton Street end of Lang Park. Egan get the set restart too, so a full set inside 10 Brisbane's line, and Laban gets involved here now for the Warriors. He'll roll it back, 6 out left-hand side. Egan back here now again, trying to make something of this last little effort now. Clark for the Warriors, put down 5 away in front of the uprights. Egan off to Barnett, backs his way into Jaden Hunt, not quite there. Mitch Barnett. Carrigan comes in to reinforce the defence as well. Metre out northern end. Warriors here with Egan off here, and now bursting Jacob Laban receives that ball. and just sliced his way through some wilting Brisbane defence early on here. Wazza in first. 4-0 kick to come after 8.5 minutes, Billy Moore.
There's nothing harder to tackle near a defensive try line than big men running hard, and that's what the Warriors to me seem to have. Everyone is big, they're powerful. Great work there by the dummy half. Wade Egan skips out beautifully, almost got Barnett over, and then he does exactly the same again. Skips to his right-hand side, and a beautiful run by Laban. Poor defence. The Bronx didn't hold integrity in the defensive line on their left-hand edge, and Laban went through a big hole.
One of those guys they know who's been a bit of a fringe player at the Warriors. Samoan born, multi All-Star scores. He's only missed the one game this year. Scores his 5th try of the year. Warriors 4-0 kick to come.
Yeah, you mentioned Samoan born. I've actually got written in my book here, Spriggy, is he a bit of a bolter for the Samoan side? I know it's hard to get into for the World Cup, but he has been outstanding this year, Jacob Laban. And I tell you what, Jaden Hunt and also Dean Mariner, they kept telling the guys on the inside, get over here. We've got too much of a gap here in the defensive line. And Wade Egan said, thank you very much, puts Jacob Laban over.
So 4-0 Warriors here. The kick will come from Luke Metcalf, 20 metres out and about 14 in from the eastern side. Our regulars checking in. Thank you, Dion, for your text. Jodes, the Cowboys fan in Mackay. Oh, sorry, Jodes, about the Western Sydney Stadium result there. Para, sorry, Zano as well. And Lucas says, Bojack, Billy and Brett. This truly is the ultimate B team. Have a great call, guys. I dig the spring. Thank you, Luca. Here is a kick from Luke Metcalf. Last week, 4 out of 5. The Warriors number 7 to make it 6-0. Their lead early on here at Lang Park, and he misses across the face. None from 1 for Luke Metcalf. Warriors 4, Broncos 0 is the scoreline here. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Gear Stewart, thank you for your text. Scott from Grafton says, first game a win by 4, second game a win by 2, third game goes to Golden Point and even ends in a draw. Just pondering the trajectory of this game, says Scott from Grafton. Third game goes to Golden Point. It wasn't Golden Point at Western Sydney Stadium.
He's predicting.
Oh, right, okay. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. So we've got very smart fans.
We do, yeah.
They can see ahead of time. David Nara says Broncos to win. Well, so far, not so good, Dave, but early days yet. Warriors 4, Broncos 0. You are with Brett Sprigg alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack here at what Quentin Hull calls headquarters. Lang Park, this famous old venue. Played back here for the Warriors by James Fisher-Harris. And he comes open side right to Mitch Barnett. And Barnett backs his way into Jaden Hunt. Now play at 20 out centre field. Egan across to his right now here for the try scorer in Laban. Has one arm pinned down there by Ezra Mam. And will now play at 30 out to his own line. Egan flat ball to Aaron Clark in the bright pinky purple boots. And he flatlines, he steamrolls Billy Walters. Egan to the right hand side now for Chance Nickel Klugstar. And he's over halfway here now for the Warriors. Still moving here the ball on second last play for the Wars, and it's back with Jacob Laban. Makes light work of one tackler there in Willison, and will now play at 30 out, 12 in from the eastern side. Egan across to Harris Savita, puts up the left foot kick. Walsh calls for it now, launching up his own goal line here, brings it down. The Broncos will start their next set deep in that northeastern corner of Lang Park, which has the Warriors 4, Broncos 0. 12 minutes played first half. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport.
What a set of 6 post points from the Warriors. Absolutely steamrolled down the middle of the park. They are running with so much power and passion.
Warren from Blacktown's tipping the Warriors by 11. They're my second team behind Penrith. I'll tell you what, they're one of the teams behind Penrith, but for how much longer? On the ladder, that is. 28 from their own line here, the Broncos, and it's in the keeping down there of the halfback Duffy. Rolled back for Walters, onto Walsh, kicks from behind the 30, so they were hemmed in, and he just punts it downfield here, Reece Walsh, onto the chest of Chance Nickel Klugstar. Plenty of open paddock there for the kick return, and the Warriors will begin this set 8 metres shy of halfway. So they've got possession, got position, and a 4-point lead as well, Billy Moore, so far.
Exactly, pretty well said. They're just basically monopolising the field position just through the hard running, and then the Broncos trying to kick their way out of trouble, but straight away they're 40 metres out from the Broncos line, Spriggy.
Harris Tavita here, and now Martinez Lesniak plays at 40 out. Another 10 metres gained here for the Warriors on tackle 4. Comes across here, Egan dummy half to Clark. Back on the inside now for Barnett and a 3-man tackle. Last play, Warriors, says referee White Raymond. Played 17 out in front of the post. Comes here to Metcalf, puts up the kick. James Lesniak was blocked, I reckon, down there. And in fact, it's going to come back here for a Broncos. No, he's saying it's Warriors.
As you said,
he did point, as I pointed out earlier, he did point Broncos, then he's realised that it was obstructed there. It was DWZ. So penalty Warriors out in that northeastern corner. Can they add to their 4-0 lead down to Zane Bojack on the touchline?
Geez, they're peppering that left-hand side in attack and right-hand side defence for the Broncos. They're really going there every set of 6. The Warriors, they must think that there's tries more than what we've seen from Laban, so they keep going back that side, Bill.
Yeah, they're looking on us here now, the Warriors.
They get inside Brisbane's 10-metre line again here through Mitch Barnett. He'll play it 5 out, right-hand side of the post. 4-0, the Warriors lead early on here. Egan fires it across now for Metcalf. Inside ball, Fisher Harris takes on Payne Haas. What a heavyweight battle that is. And Payne Haas tackles him 7 metres shy of the uprights. Egan back now for Metcalf. Keeps it moving now. Harris to Vita. He wrong foots a couple of defenders out there and spins into the goal area and scores. Well, he made a fool of Jordan Ricky first of all, and then just jinked his way through a couple more Brisbane defenders. And Chanel Harris-Tavita scores the Warriors' second try in the space of 14 minutes. 8-0 kick to come was here at Lang Park. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport.
Great hands there by the Warriors. Roughly a centre field play the ball, but the halves switch sides really quickly. They can see an opportunity on the left-hand side. Metcalf onto his halves partner. And absolutely brilliant sidesteps by Chanel Harris-Tavita. Ankle breaking Zano. Left foot, and then opened up a huge hole. And he's quick. Had the acceleration to get through the hole. He was brought down just before the line, but had enough speed and strength to score a great try by the Warriors.
Chanel number 6. Duffy said, where did he go? Carrigan said, where did he go? Walsh couldn't get there. How good were those steps? That's some of the best athleticism you're ever going to see. And I tell you what, I was a bit worried about their halves combinations this year when at this very game at Magic Round, it was Tanner Boyd that went down. I thought, oh no, what's going to happen to the Warriors' premiership contention? And then, of course, Tamari Martin and now Luke Metcalf. They've got plenty of halfbacks over there. Who needs Jack Cleary?
Scored a try last week, Chanel Harris-Tavita, and now again here in back-to-back games. This puts Luke Metcalf on a much more agreeable angle here for the kick. 11 out, slight angle left-hand side here for the right footer who missed his first conversion attempt after the first quarter of an hour here at Lang Park, where Luke Metcalf makes it 1 from 2, and the scoreline, Warriors 10, Broncos at 0. You are with Brett Sprigg, Billy Moore and Zane Bojack here, NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Love your call on the footy. Go the New Zealand Warriors. You guys always cheer me up, says Ryan from Bomaderry. And from Levine across the ditch. Loving Indigenous round despite the disappointing season. Really would love the Bronx to play their hearts out and finish the season on a high. Thank you, Ants. And the ultimate B team, the Bears, says Hillbilly Harb in the Perth Hills in WA. Where were you last week, Hillbilly Harb? Did you see it? Did we see you at the Bear Walk? There was enough of you out there.
Go the Bears.
Billy and I were there. Yep. Always good to hear from our listeners out west here as NRL round 24 rolls on. James Fisher Harris is met there by 3 Brisbane Broncos in their very striking Indigenous jerseys. And now Capewell on the angled run here, collected by Payne Haas. 15 out from that southern goal line now. Egan onto Barnett, tackle 3. Metcalf on here now for Leah Tower, and he's brought down 30, make it 28 out from his own line. Egan, flat ball there, the man in motion, Mitch Barnett, and he's collected 35 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Couple left in the set now for the Warriors. 10-0 their lead, 16 going first half here in Brisbane as they crawl towards halfway through the services of Aaron Clark. Egan dummy half off to Harris-Tavita, who kicks down toward the corner. It's taken by Grant Anderson. Anderson runs back here blind into that 20-metre line where he's tackled by Alafiana Khan Pereira. And now they get something going here. The Broncos took a Tony Staggs. Most penalised player in the comp, by the way, Tony Staggs, for what it's worth. He's in attack here, though, 30 out from his own line. Walters dummy half. Off here now for Reece Walsh. And now Karapani, the Broncos winger, is put down 35 out from his own line. It's still the Warriors 10, Brisbane 0 here on ABC Sport. They get 6 more for inside the 10. You heard there from referee Wyatt Raymond. Comes across now through Carrigan to Payne Haas. They got a full set here, Billy, inside Warriors territory.
Well, they haven't been down the Warriors' end yet. The Warriors been down there twice with 2 tries.
Duffy back to Carrigan, almost stolen away there by Wade Egan with a one-on-one steal, but Carrigan will now play it. 32 out from the Warriors line. Walters looks left, goes right for Reece Walsh, and fleet of foot shares it with Jordan Ricky, but Ricky now tackled down there, 12 shy of the Warriors line. Rolled back there to Walters, on to Reece Walsh. He calls the play, shares it now here with Willison, can't offload, tackled there by Metcalf. 5 out left-hand side. Warriors, the Broncos' best look so far. Walsh gets it back here. They shift it left-hand side. Played out there by the Warriors. The man kick. Man regathers it now, 20 out. So they'll get a full set here now as Reece Walsh has gone down, clutching his left ankle or foot. This is most concerning here, Zane Bojack, for the Brisbane Broncos fullback.
Yeah, I wonder if it's syndesmosis. He's in a lot of pain. To me, it's around that ankle area, but high ankle, which indicates that's the worst kind of ankle sprain you can get. And Charles Nickel-Klugstad has taken the hip and then fallen on his leg.
Well, that's regulation hip drop.
I think this is almost borderline send-off, Billy. It's at least 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, there's going to be some serious analysis of this.
Oh, yeah, and that's the trouble there for Reece Walsh. That weight of Nickel-Klugstad coming down on the back of him. It's almost sort of part hip drop, part cannonball. Warriors 10, Broncos 0, 18 going first half. So there'll be something here to reckon with, I reckon, for Charles Nickel-Klugstad.
And they've already got the sin bin numbers up.
They've already got one on the wall, on the board.
He's got a clear grip of him,
Here we go.
and then rotates and drops his body weight directly on the ankle with an elevated risk of injury. On report in the bin.
There we go. See you later. Warriors fullback Charles Nickel-Klugstad. So it'll be 13 on 12. Despite this 10-0 deficit the Broncos are facing, the Warriors down a man for 10 minutes.
And the key from a Broncos perspective, you've got a one-man overlap, but you want to make sure that you keep Reece Walsh on the field, because if he goes off, there goes a lot of your attacking firepower. He's up and about, so he's going to push through, Zano, but I've been harping on how good the Warriors' defence is. Let's now test it. Down to 12 men, can they hold the Broncos out?
So Reece Walsh is hobbling, staying out there for now. I imagine he's coming off.
No, he's coming off. He's trying as hard as he can. He can't even put any weight on. You'd like to see him put his arm over the shoulder of the trainer.
Play continues. Shibasaki will come on for the Broncos, but play continues here as Payne Haas.
Staying on.
It's going back.
Staying on. Goodness me. Payne Haas will play it. Set restart here, Broncos. So again, the Warriors goal line dig under all kinds of pressure. Ricky runs straight there into Kurt Capewell. Claim now. 6 out right-hand side for the Broncos. Walters goes open side left. Catch and run and release here from Duffy off to Willison in a 4-man tackle, and he's not quite there. Coming up metre shy here for the Brisbane Broncos. Willison rolls it back there for Walters. Across the goal mouth now. Mam to Duffy. On to Reece Walsh in the play again. Intercepted by Khan Pereira. He's got the open space. 30 out, 40 over halfway. And guess what? There's no fullback to chase him. Mam's chasing him, but gives up the chase here. And Khan Pereira scores a 90-metre try for the Warriors. Just when it seemed, Billy, like the Bronx had some momentum. The Warriors down a man make it 14-0, kick to come.
Spriggy, the theatre of that was amazing. Walsh was coming off. He pushed away from the trainer. He went back and said, I'm not coming off. They sent another trainer off to get him off. He said, no. He stayed out and he got the play, the attacking shot down the right-hand side. And so I'm sure you'll agree, he was off his game. He needed to come off and he chose the wrong option under a lot of pain and duress. Hobbling along, he's thrown a bad pass and the worst person person to pass to is Khan Pereira. There's probably no faster guy in the competition than this guy. He's electric and was able to go away and race to give the Broncos a 14-0 lead, kick to come.
Well, I tell you what, Troy Thompson, the Broncos football manager, is in huge conversation with the NRL ground staff because they wanted their free interchange, which would have been Gavin Shibasaki coming on to replace Reece Walsh. And for some reason, it was knocked back. It should have been admitted because it was a 10-minute sin bin for Charles Nickel-Klugstar. So there's no reason why it should have been knocked back. Walsh got told to stay on there because Shibasaki couldn't get on the field. He throws the pass, and then Alfano Pereira runs 100. Unbelievable down here. I tell you, the Broncos are absolutely livid.
Yeah, so 14-0 kick to come Warriors. And this will place Luke Metcalf about 20 out and about 8 metres in from the western sideline here at Lang Park. Alfano Pereira, who's connected to Bundjalung country through his mother. That's, of course, in all the rivers area of New South Wales, where he's from. So, Luke Metcalf, 1 from 2 so far tonight. The midway stage of the opening 40 minutes here in Brisbane. It could be 16-0 Warriors very soon. Metcalf sizes it up. Doesn't look from 20 out, and it goes over. So Metcalf's 2 from 3. Warriors 16, Broncos 0. And now Metcalf reaching for the hammy. He's twinged the hammy, Zano. It's carnage down there at the moment.
Oh, Ashton Ward, eat your heart out. All these goal kickers, he knows he's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's going to come on. I can't believe it. Unbelievable.
That happened to Jaden Sullivan last night as well.
Oh, geez, it's happening everywhere. It's an epidemic.
It is around 24. Maybe it's just the fatigue of the season, Billy Moore.
Oh, I think that's a very good point, Spriggy, that you're making. The bodies are worn out. The game's so quick and they're right at the back end, but he's very despondent, and that just throws a spur in the works for the Warriors for the whole season.
20 gone, 20 left. White Raymond just urges them to get back on side here as we get back and away with the Broncos kickoff. So Duffy sends it down towards that southern end goal area. Harris to read it back to James Fisher Harris, and he takes on Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan et al. 11 out from that southern line here at Lang Park, where it's the Warriors 16, the Broncos 0, and Luke Metcalf's looking despondent walking along that Warriors bench, having just twinged his right hamstring in that last kick for goal. Of course, meantime, they're down a man still for 7 minutes, the Warriors, with his Chantical Klugstar sin bin. Wade Egan goes to his left-hand side here as Ricky makes the tackle on Fisher Harris. Egan open side right now, trying to get something going. With that to a peaky out there. It makes sense, of course, with the restructure there with Nickel Klugstar off. So Tane to a peaky is out in the action there for the Warriors. A kick to win the set goes onto the chest of Dean Mariner, and the Broncos have it back in their possession here. But he's run down by Jacob Laban, who was the game's first try scorer after 8 minutes. Meanwhile, we've got 19 left to the break, and it's the Warriors 16, the Broncos 0, Billy Moore.
Wade Egan just got bowled over in that carry back by Mariner. Just to see whether it might be a little bit of a visit to HIA for him, but this is where the Broncos are going to take advantage of that one-man overlap, but no Walsh. Someone else has to stand up.
Played by Shibasaki as Walters directs it right-hand side of the park. Payne Haas in the field stands in the Laban and Barnett tackle, and Haas will now play it. 35 out from his own line here for the Broncos, who are down and out, of course. 7 straight losses at home. Can they turn things around? Flick pass clever there from Staggs off to Mariner. He slipped over, though, inside Warriors territory. Offloads back here for Staggs. He jumped over the ruck there. He's nearly called back here by White Raymond.
Passed off the ground.
Passed off the ground by Dean Mariner. So it will be penalty going the Warriors' way here. 18-20 left to the break. Warriors 16, Broncos 0 with Brett Sprigg alongside legendary Queenslander Billy Moore and Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Yeah, look, there's been a restructure with the Broncos as well, with Reece Walsh going off. Shibasaki's gone into the centres, and that's meant that Green Anderson's gone back to fullback. And for the Warriors, they've got Kurt Capel coming over onto the right-hand side, and they put Harris DeVita at halfback, and Aaron Clark looks like he's playing a fair bit at second receiver, 5'8" position.
I think there might be some news around Reece Walsh, Zano as well. So Barnett tackled here, 5 inside Broncos territory. You'd think that Reece Walsh appears gone, Zano, correct in the game?
Yeah, I've got confirmation. He's got a high ankle sprain. rain, syndesmosis. That's the end of his season.
Goodness me.
And did they get the free interchange?
Yeah, they did eventually.
Okay, so 30 outs on the field here. The Warriors attacking the Broncos line. Egan to his right now for Harris to Vita. Back on the inside. Laban was enveloped there by a couple of Broncos. 20 out, 20 in eastern side. Comes across now Fisher Harris. Shares it with Harris to Vita. Across down to Tuapiki. And now again with Halasima. He was met low. 8 metres shy of the Broncos line. Last play, Warriors, 16-0 their lead. Up goes the kick from Chanel Harris to Vita. It bounces or sort of swings through the air and take it on the full, but then Shibasaki wrapped up the man who received that high ball in Laban. So it will be changeover. Broncos ball about 7 out from their own line in that northeastern corner of Lang Park. 16:50 left in this first half. We've still got 4 minutes and 18 seconds left of the Charles Nickel Klugstar sin bin, and it's the Warriors 16, Broncos 0 here.
I'm loving this western side battle of the centres. Lecker the Wrecker up against Katoni Staggs. Staggs has Lecker for a bit of skill as a natural born centre, but the Wrecker, when he runs, he's hard to stop.
Fisher Harris cuts across there in concert with Harris to Vita and makes the tackle down there here for the Warriors as the Broncos peel it away through centre field. It's thrown forward there by Jade Hunt. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Just an NFL-style pass.
Well, this is where they're having trouble, the Bronx. They're defending their mistakes. 3 times the Warriors, Spriggy have been down the Broncos end of the park in this first half. 3 tries.
Bob, thank you for your text. One text here says, form, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Thank you for that. 15:50 left here. Warriors 16, Broncos 0. So no Reece Walsh out with what Zane Bojack said, that high ankle sprain, the syndesmosis. So season gone for the Broncos star fullback. Well, only a few weeks to go. And here they go with the scrum of the Warriors. 30 out from that Brisbane Broncos line. And look at a penalty for a high shot. And that last tackle there with Willison and Ricky. So Warriors penalty here to have more possession again here. Billy Moore deep in Brisbane territory to add to their 16-0 lead.
Yeah, are they going to take the 2? The Warriors. Surprising because they've had such bearing good fruit every time they go to the Broncos end of the park, but they decided to take the kick. Interesting to see who does the kicking duties because obviously...
Chanel, surely.
But can they afford to risk another half?
Yeah, I think it will be Chanel Harris. Tavita it is. Penalty count so far 2-1. Set restart, that's 2-1 the Warriors way. Set restart has also been 2-1 the Broncos way. Of course, the report the sin bin made for Charles Nickel Klugstar, who's got 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go. While it's sort of 13 on 12. But here goes the kick from Chanel Harris Tavita. He'll be 32 metres out and about 22 in from the western side. So slightly sort of long range attempt at goal here to make it 18-0 the way of the Warriors. 0467920222. A little hip drop on Walsh, should have been a send-off, taking out Broncos playmaker. Thanks for the great call, the Major in Ananda. Paul Lismore says Warriors would displace Panthers for second if they win by 45 plus. Yeah, and they're on track to it as well, Paul. I mentioned that. So the way the points they score and the defence is so good as well. And the Broncos, Billy, just look demoralised, not only tonight but across the season, across their last 7 home games here at Lang Park. They've not tasted victory. Here's Chanel Harris Tafita, who kicks 32 out, and he makes no mistake with that penalty goal. So it is Warriors 18, Broncos 0, with 14 left in this first half. Earlier at Western Sydney Stadium, the Parramatta Eels defeated the North Queensland Cowboys, and the full-time score there, it was 2 points, wasn't it? They won by those 2 points, 32 points to 30. Full-time Queensland Cup, the Cutters 32, beat Townsville Blackhawks 14. AFL first quarter, Hawthorn 15, Collingwood 15. First quarter in Adelaide, Port Adelaide and Melbourne, and no score yet so far. AFLW half-time, Bulldog 33, played the Gold Coast Suns 9. Of course, Brisbane beat Gold Coast in the men's Q clash earlier as well in the AFL. Back here at Lang Park, played by Fisher Harris to Egan. Off to Mitch Barnett against his future club here, and he's met by Carrigan and Willison. Sent across that 20-metre line now for the game's first try scorer, Laban. Tackle 27 out from his zone line, Milton right end of the ground. Egan across now on that short side for Capewell, and Capewell brought to ground by Walters, and will now play at 40 out from his own line. Off the deck here, Egan on play 4, and they rumble inside Broncos territory here, the Warriors. Now the last play is Egan goes open side left for Harris to Vita, puts up the kick, this time in play. It'll be taken 10 metres out down there and nailed down there by Halasima. Is that man Dean Mariner? The Broncos go back on the attack in their own end. Offload here does come here for Anderson, still alive on play 2, and he escapes the Brisbane red zone here. Rolled back now for Mann, off now for Shibasaki. Speaking of players who are Perth bound next year, he'll be a bear in 2027 game at Shibasaki. 35 out, 20 into the eastern side. Carrigan on to Duffy, and now here they go with Ricky, and he stands in the tackle of Harris Tavita and James Fisher-Harris. 8 short of the halfway here. Second last play Broncos. Anderson goes from dummy half, beats one tackler. It's cut down here by Barnett and Harris Tavita. 40 out, 20 in at western side of the ground in the Warriors half. Duffy's running kick goes up in the air, and Tuapiki launches off the wing here. Bounces back for Ezra Mam. White Raven saw a penalty here going the Warriors' way. Player tackled in the air.
Yeah, not a fair contest for Tuapiki. Obviously, he's jumped into the fullback role. The Bulldogs would be very keen on challenging him in the air because he's not the biggest guy, but Mariner didn't do that correctly, and fair penalty given to the Warriors. So 11.5 minutes to go in this first half. The Broncos have hardly had any field position inside the Warriors 30, and what they've been brilliant at tonight, the Warriors, is coming out of their end. Their middle field running is as good as anybody in this competition.
Penalty count 4-1 the way of the Warriors, and Nickel Klugstar's back out, so his sin bin's finished. 18-0 to score on here. Warriors lead the Broncos. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport coming away from Brisbane, and here is a strong run now for the Warriors, and tackle meter short of halfway. Yes, Billy?
Aaron Clark. I don't reckon there's a player that runs any harder in the game than Aaron Clark.
Lost down there by Tanner Stowers Smith. Thank you, Zane. No, down to you again, because it is the Warriors 18, the Broncos 0.
Yeah, I've caught up with the Warriors, and they said it's definitely hamstring for Luke Metcalf, but they haven't ruled him out just yet. I'm waiting for him to come out with a packet of ice on the back of his hamstring, and then we'll know for sure that he is definitely out. But they're playing ducks and drakes on that one. The other thing is, this place is a graveyard. Used to be before this ground became the ground that it is. Wowee, I tell you what, we're seeing some players go down already.
Oh yeah, round 24 action here on ABC Sport. Mam receives it from that scrum feeder, now goes to Shibasaki. Either inside Warriors territory, set restart the Broncos. Can they make something of this? Billy trailing 18-0 at the half-hour mark of the game. And now it's played out there by Jaden Hunt. 40 out. Walters on to Mam. Inside ball here now for Willison. Offload misses Walters. It'll bounce there for Mam, and he's collected by Tanner Stowers Smith. 8 minutes inside Warriors territory. Walters off here for Pat Carrigan. Straightens his run there and steamrolls Wade Egan. 30 out, middle of the park here for the Broncos. Walters goes to the right now for Duffy. Ricky steps through one tackle there of Capewell. Stopped now by Tuapiki, and also out there Laban. Rolled back for Walters, and this is last play Broncos coming up with a run from Haas. Play at 5 out now. Walters off to the left now for Duffy. They'll shift this Warriors defence to the left, and now it's fielded by Tuapiki, the kick of the in-goal area, and he's flattened by Shibasaki. So it's line drop out Warriors with 9:20 left to the break. Warriors control things here 18-0 in the first half at Lang Park.
Good sliding defence by the Warriors. Broncos threw a fair bit at them. Obviously Duffy, Mam and Walters now running the whole show, and between one of those three, that's where the magic's got to come from. But the Warriors defence looks like a blue wall at the moment.
So the Warriors with Harris Tavita, he sends up quite a short dropout, goes about 15 metres. Karapani launches uncontested there for the Broncos. They'll have the set here inside the Warriors red zone as they trail 18-0 the home side. Across to the right-hand side now is Stowers Smith. Makes the tackle on Jaden Hunt. Now he's playing Marcus Stowers Smith. Walters fires the pass there for Carrigan. Inside ball now Willison takes on Barnett and co. And he's 6 metres shy of the uprights, southern end of Lang Park. Walters to his right now again. And Duffy's nailed. Great tackle by Harris to Vita. Coming out of the line there. Rolled back for Walters. Play goes on quickly. Carrigan runs headlong into Tanistau with Smith and Mitch Barnett. Now it's last play Broncos. 7 out directly in front. Walters to his left now for Mann. He runs the footy here, and that will be changeover. 5 out from that Warriors line. So again, they control the game here, Billy Moore. The Warriors, through weight of 59% possession and an 18-0 scoreline, 7:50 left in the first 40.
Wow, defensive set. Harris to Vita, amazing shot on Duffy, and surely Ezra Mann must have lost count of the tackles. Has it not gone here? Not gone here by the Warriors, so the Broncos get a really good shot. If you're going to be anything tonight, Spriggy, this is the set of 6. They've got to score now.
Yeah, that was an error from Leah Tower to play the ball, so Broncos will have it back here. 15 out centre field, Zane Bojack, 18-0 the Warriors lead.
Just after I gave you my last cross, I can confirm Luke Metcalf officially ruled out for the rest of the night, Spriggy.
Okay, you're ahead of things, Zane, always. So hamstring concern for Luke Metcalf. And
I wonder if it's going to be more than just one game.
Well, that's what I reckon, Bill. There's a real chance that they might be down their fourth halfback.
Goodness me. So here they go, 15 out. So is that Jack Cleary next week? Debut? Here they go, 13 out, southern end here, the Broncos. Walters across here now for Jordan Ricky, and Ricky makes ground inside that 10-metre line, tackled by Barnett. Have spent their first 2 tackles here, the Broncos. Walters across now for Duffy. Delays the pass now to Mam, and now it's been lost by Shibasaki. Under pressure there from Ali Leah Tower. Simple error made by Shibasaki on the outside there on the eastern touchline. And it remains the Warriors 18, the Broncos 0. 6.5 left in this opening 40, and the Warriors get the football back.
It's the process. It's just not the same side. Ezra Mann passes to Shibasaki. It's low, it's behind him. That's poor. Poor pass, poor process. They had the opportunity, probably their best opportunity this first half. Back-to-back sets of 6 inside the Warriors 20 and come up with the big nil.
Scrum feed, 15 out from their own line here, the Warriors. Comes across left-hand side. And now played by Leka Halasima. Mitch Barnett now surrounded there by Carrigan and Co. On the 20-metre line here for the Warriors early in the set. Egan off to his right now for Stowers Smith. And he's heaped back down there by Walters and Hunt. That's Jaden Hunt. 30 out here from that southern line here. The Warriors keep it moving here through Jeremiah Tueva out there. Will play at 40 out from his own line. Now Egan goes from dummy half. Dummy's the pass there to Tuapiki, and Egan will take the contact in there of Willison. Last play, Warriors meter inside Broncos territory as the kick comes from Chanel Harris to Vita. Down to about 12 out from that northern line is where Mariner takes it, and then 2 tacklers take him. Broncos will start their next set from there with a trail 18-0. That's the Warriors lead here with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the half.
And the Broncos must go into half-time. If not scoring, not conceding another point, they'll give themselves a little bit of a chance to come back in the second half.
Payne Haas having a spell, so here's Walters. He bounced off one tackler and now lost his footing on that logo western side, 40 out. Ricky dummy half off for Carrigan. Duffy across now for Shibasaki, and he's collared in there by Leah Tower. 7 shy of halfway, 20 in eastern side the Broncos. Last play trailing 18-0 at the hands of the Waz as Duffy's kick will end the set, and it comes down to Alafiana Khan Pereira, who's got a 90-metre intercept earlier in the game, catching a pass from an injured Reece Walsh, and Reece Walsh subsequently is off with an ankle injury and, well, we think will miss the rest of this season. 30 out, 20 in eastern side is where the Warriors have the football through Jacob Laban, and this is tackle 2 with 4:10 left in the first half. Here's Tanis Lesniak, who'll play at 35 out. Egan back short side right now for Charles Nickel Klugstar, who was sin-bin, in case you missed that earlier in this first half. Despite that, the Warriors still lead 18-0. He's inside Broncos territory, off to Tuapiki, who briefly replaced him he's still out there. 35 out, 20 in now. This will be last play Warriors. Egan finds Harris to Vita. A couple of steps and a kick down towards that northwestern corner. Launching up there, Mariner does well for the Broncos. And again, they'll start this set. Fifth been out from their own line. 10 western side. Duffy wastes no time. Uses the ball to Anderson. Anderson's surrounded there by 3 or 4 blue jerseys. And he'll play at 25 out from his own line for the Broncos.
Yeah, a bit of a grind now. The Warriors have absolutely dominated this first half. And the Broncos just not getting into the backfield, not finding a way through this blue wall at the moment.
3:20 left in the first half. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack here at Lang Park. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Walters here on play 4 across to Duffy. Comes back in the middle of the park now for Ezra Mann, and he's tackled down there, 40 out, 20 in. Walters on the last here for Duffy. Kicks it behind the 40, but it goes high and long down to that 20-metre line. Picked off by the Warriors winger Alafiana Khan Pereira. Another of those guys who used to call South East Queensland home as the Gold Coast Titan. As a Gold Coast Titan, here's Harris to Vita. Off to Martinez Lesniak, and again he hits the deck after the Walters tackle. 40 out, 20 in, far side. And here goes Leah Tower again. So the Warriors who complete strong. They control possession as well. And an 18-0 scoreline to boot. Sowers Smith here, the play to Harris to Vita. And now the pace up to a peak is stopped by Staggs. 35 out from the Broncos line. A couple left in this set for the Warriors. Here comes Chanel. Off now to Halasima. And now it will be, in fact, last play Warriors 25 out. Egan goes the short side left. Up goes the kick from Harris to Vita. As Anderson launching off his own goal line here. Did it come forward off him? Ref White Raymond saying it's going to be penalty Warriors anyway. So 18-0 here with minute 50 left in his first half. Down to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Yeah, Jordan Ricky, he's a bit like the Broncos this year, just can't take a trick. It comes off the hands of Anderson, off the back of Chanel Harris to Vita, and then ends up in Jordan Ricky's hands. But of course, because it had come off a Bronco initially, he's offside, so they get another penalty.
Yeah, I'll take the 2 here as well, I think. Spriggy?
Looks that way, yes. As ref White Raymond, the pin chicken points to the posts. So this will put Chanel Harris to Vita on only a slight angle left-hand side of the park and about 13 metres out.
You know how they reckon timing's everything, Spriggy?
Yeah.
What about Jack Cleary asking for a release this week?
Yeah.
And there's another player there that no one's talking about, Luke Hanson, born in Bundaberg, raised in Rotorua. What's the bet he's wearing the number 7 next week, because Tamari Martin's not back to round 26.
Has he played first grade yet, Luke Hanson?
I think he's played one game.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that he might be preferred, because Jeff's saying sayonara back to Penrith.
Yeah. Here comes Chanel Harris to Vita. Already with one successful attempt at goal after Luke Metcalf was ruled out with a hamstring injury. This to make it 20-0 in the Warriors' favour as we approach the halftime break, and he just thunders that through off his left foot. Chanel Harris to Vita. So back-to-back penalty goals for him makes it 2 out of 2, and the scoreline here reads Warriors 20, Bronx 0 with 55 seconds left. In Rugby League, Ryan Catchman was suspended for 4 weeks for a accidental hip drop, which ended Jermaine Hopgood's season. The Chanceable Fluke Stars hip drop on Reece Walsh was much worse and must receive at least a 4-week suspension. He's probably ended Reece Walsh's World Cup since Kevin Balliner. Thank you, Ted, for your text. Yeah, you did say it was a pretty harsh, and deliberate tackle, which he did get sin bin for. Froggy's asked, where's Quentin Hull? He's on his way back from the AFL. Did the Q clash. The Lions beat the Suns earlier, and the Q clash in the AFL means it's a Q clash on Q's schedule as well here. There's Rugby League happening in town the same night. That's why I'm here. 17 out Southern End as it comes to first receiver Barnett on tackle 2 with 15 seconds left in the half. 20 block the scoreline in the Warriors' favour. Egan goes to his right now here, and another sort of clumsy tackle there as Ricky clobbers Jacob Laban, and that will be all she wrote in the first half. at Lang Park, in which, as I said, they lost Charles Klugstar to the sin bin after that tackle on Reece Walsh, which Reece Walsh has suffered a serious ankle injury. So it's back to 13 on 13. And despite all of that, well, it's still 20-0 Warriors. Tries to Jacob Laban in the 8th minute, Chanel Harris to Vita in the 13th, and Alfiona Khan-Pereira in the 18th minute, that 90-metre intercept for the former Titan. And so far, conversions, Luke Metcalf 2 from 3. He's out with a hamstring. He sort of tweaked his hammy after the second of those, or the third of those attempts. And then Chanel Harris to Vita has nailed the most recent 2 penalty goals in the game for a 20-0 halftime scoreline, Billy Moore.
Wow, you knew the Warriors were a serious contender in 2026 after what they've done the last month. But this is, to me, Rams home how good they are. That at one period point they were down 12 men when Hodgstad was sin-binned, and rightfully so. But the Broncos still couldn't penetrate. It's just, I've said the word, the blue wall, I think on 3 occasions, and it's stunning, Spriggy. Just watching how well they communicate, how they come up and slide. They all work together in the defensive line, and they really negated anything the Broncos have thrown at them. And on top of that, they've completed at 90%, the Warriors.
Yeah.
And you talk about their ability to go down the park. Coming away from their 20-metre line, it's as good, if not the best, in the competition. So a lot of work to be done by Michael Maguire at half-time, and how they're going to turn it around, I'm not quite sure. But for the Warriors, I do believe that Klodstad, he might be out for a couple of weeks off the back of that tackle. So, and they've lost Metcalf, so they're going great on the scoreboard, but this game at the moment may have come at a big cost.
Yeah, well, we'll have time to discuss the discourse around that in the post-game as well, with the second half not too far away. Possession 54% the Warriors' way in that first half. Completions 90, as you mentioned, versus 73% for the home side. Wow. So again, that's where the game is won and lost. 2 line breaks to 0. Penalty count in the first half was now 5-1 Warriors. Total of set restarts is 3-1 the Broncos' way. The report in the Sinman, of course, the way of the Warriors fullback Chance Nickel Klugstar, saying, Bojack, we think we know what the top 8 looks like, despite the Cowboys faltering earlier, but the Warriors are making a real claim for a potential top 2 spot.
Oh, look, we know Andrew Webster came from the Penrith system. Well, this system he's created, the Warriors, is amazing. They lose a player, go down to 12, and their defence is still unpenetrable. They just know how to click and fit and make their jigsaw pieces go into the slots they need to be. They lost a player in Luke Metcalf, and they just never lost a beat. Often you say, sometimes teams are lucky to be nil. The Broncos are very lucky to be nil.
So far the Warriors have used Tain Tuapiki, they've used Eremia Tuova and Tanner Stow as Smith off the bench, and of course we did see the Broncos deploy that interchange with Gamat Shibasaki after Reece Walsh came off, and they've only used him in the game so far off the bench, which is remarkable. So still some soldiers to be used there for Michael Maguire in the second 40. If they have any chance, the Broncos are responding to this 20-0 halftime deficit and not continuing this losing streak of now 7, soon to be 8 games at home here at Lane Park, with just one home game to go in a couple of weeks against the Melbourne Storm, Billy. 0467 920 222. Evening, Brett. Could you ask Billy for his thoughts about the players going to the Bears next year and the quality of players that are going there? Thank you, Lee in Brisbane. This is a long conversation, I suppose, but so far, some good, solid names. Still 1 or 2 big names probably missing from that Bears lineup.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a couple of, I think we've got about 4 spots left.
Yep.
One or 2 high-profile players, yeah, but listening to Mal Meninga, especially over the last week or 2 being in Perth, and the rest of the retention staff, they're very calm and relaxed about the type of player that they want. They've got a lot of younger players. A lot of their best years are well in front of them. A couple of glue players. Kurt Sorensen, he's had many good years.
Scott, yeah.
Scott Sorensen, sorry. There's players that I think that the senior guys will be able to gel these young guys and bring them on, but let's wait to see who the next 3 or 4 players are, because there's still a fair bit of powder dry in our salary cap.
Daniel from Caloundra, listening to your call while I'm fishing. Can you please give a shout out to the Kilcoy Yowies? They beat the Beachmere Pelicans 54-20 in the Sunshine Coast competition. Who's your local Sunshine Coast? Oh, Billy, do you have a favourite team in the local Sunshine Coast competition?
Well, my boys played for Maroochydore, but I actually had a run when I came out of retirement. I played for the Quana Dolphins in the grand final.
Beautiful.
Unfortunately got beaten.
Stewart's here at the game at Lang Park, says so hard supporting the Broncos, who have no set move off a scrum base, no creativity in the kickoffs with a massive hole in the defence line, no stretching the defence when a man up. They were up a man for 10 minutes and couldn't make anything of that, and in fact gave up more points during that time. 0467 920 222. Full-time Queensland Cup, Mackay Cutters 32 beat Townsville Blackhawks 14. AFL second quarter, Collingwood 27 of their leading Hawthorn 22. First quarter in Adelaide, Melbourne 25 leads Port 7. AFLW third quarter, the Bulldogs 39 lead the Gold Coast Suns 11. And earlier in the NRL, of course, at Western Sydney Stadium, the game most recently completed, the Eels beat the Cowboys by 2 points, 32-30. And at Shark Park, the Raiders upset the Sharks again. So things falling apart for the Sharks, who lost Braden Trindle to a shoulder injury, and the Raiders won that game 24-20. In the NRLW, the Broncos were beaten by the Sydney Roosters, who remain undefeated. 34-20 was the full-time score there. Jess Serger scored 2 tries for the Roosters. Para beat Canterbury 30 points to 18, and Gold Coast 26 beat St George Illawarra 10 in the first of our NRLW games today. Here at Lang Park, it's the Warriors 20, the Broncos 0. Back with me, Brett Sprigg, alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack very shortly, but right now, it's time for ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The death toll from the powerful earthquake that struck off the coast of the eastern Indonesian island of Flores has risen to at least 38. Indonesia's Disaster Management Agency says several others were injured in the magnitude 7.7 quake that shook the Indonesian province of East Nusa Tenggara early today. Indonesia's armed forces have been deployed in search and rescue operations across the affected province. Victoria has confirmed a Phillip Island little penguin has died from H5 bird flu. The dead penguin was found in the greater Phillip Island region and away from where the daily penguin parade occurs that attracts visitors. Chief Biodiversity Officer Dr. James Todd says the detection of bird flu on the island is concerning, but work is already underway to begin a mass vaccination program of the thousands of penguins that call the island home.
We know that little penguins are iconic and highly valued by Victorians, and for that reason we are working as a priority to protect those colonies.
Western Australia's Premier Roger Cook has described the preference deal struck between the WA Liberal Party and One Nation in the Secret Harbour by-election as a toxic coalition. Labor candidate Georgia Tree officially launched her campaign for the seat today, following the retirement of Labor Minister Paul Papalia. Last month, Liberal leader Basil Zemplis said any result which sees Labor lose the seat would be considered a win for the Liberals. Roger Cook says One Nation has a track record of not delivering for Western Australians.
And it's a record the opposition leader has endorsed by sending Liberal Party preferences to One Nation. He knows the only way that he can govern in WA is through a toxic coalition with One Nation, with the Liberal Party as the minor partner.
An Adelaide NDIS provider has been charged over an alleged $5 million fraud plot. Francis Dew has the story.
The Australian Federal Police say officers arrested a 38-year-old man at Adelaide Airport yesterday as he was trying to leave the country. The AFP also says he's a director of a registered NDIS provider. They allege the man solicited protected NDIS participant information from a National Disability Insurance Agency employee and used it to make thousands of funding claims worth about $5 million. In June, a 48-year-old woman was the first person to face charges over the same alleged plot after AFP investigators searched premises in Adelaide's northern suburbs. The man has been charged with dealing with the proceeds of crime fraudulently claimed from the NDIS and soliciting protected information from an NDIS staff member.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has welcomed Venezuela's latest prison release of more than 130 political detainees, saying it's a crucial step in the country's national reconciliation process. More on this from the BBC's James Reid.
There were emotional scenes outside Venezuelan prisons as detainees were reunited with their families. Some had been convicted of plotting against Nicolas Maduro, the former president who's now facing trial in New York after being ousted by the US military. Since his downfall in January, more than 1,000 Venezuelans have been released. Marco Rubio added that the US was closely monitoring talks between the interim government and opposition, which began last week. Some in Venezuela regard the American Secretary of State as an unofficial viceroy because of the control he exerts over the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez.
Turning to sport now, and Bangladesh is poised to win a cricket test on Australian soil for the first time, with the tourists well on top after day 3 in Darwin. Jim Maxwell wraps up the day's play.
Bangladesh have taken control of the Darwin Test. Australia is 4 for 161, needing another 67 to get level. Josh Hazlewood took his 300th Test wicket as Bangladesh scored 426, and that made a lead of 228. In its second innings, Australia with Smith making 44, Green 43 not out. They go into the fourth day with Bangladesh on the brink of an historic win. Jim Maxwell, ABC Sport, Darwin.
In AFL, two-time premiers Brisbane have shored up their top 4 berth with a 42-point win over Gold Coast at the Gabba. In the other match, completed earlier, Geelong was too good for North Melbourne, 125 to 110. This is ABC News.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Hits the bat now, it's that out! It's LBW!
Grandstand cricket.
12 months, 20 Test matches, New Zealand at home over summer, the 3 most iconic overseas tours, the 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG.
Driving through the covers and crunching it away to the boundary.
And it starts now with Australia versus Bangladesh.
Pitch out the leg before, finger goes up and Cummins strikes.
Listen to every ball live from the top end. On ABC Listen, just look for the cricket button.
The 2026 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
Metre out Northern End. Warriors here with Egan. Off here and now bursting Jacob Laidburn receives that ball. And just sliced his way through some wilting Brisbane defence early on here. 7 metres shy of the uprights. Egan back now for Metcalf. Keeps it moving now. Harris to Vita. He wrong foots. A couple of defenders out there and spins into the goal area and scores. They'll get a full set here now as Reece Walsh has gone down, clutching his left ankle or foot. This is most concerning here. Zane Bojack for the Brisbane Broncos fullback.
Yeah, I wonder if it's syndesmosis. He's in a lot of pain. To me, it's around that ankle area, but high ankle, which indicates that's the worst kind of ankle sprain you can get. And Charles Nickel-Klugstad has taken the hip and then fallen on his leg.
Well, that's regulation hip drop.
And drops his body weight directly on the ankle with an elevated risk of injury on report in the bin.
There we go. Across the goal mouth now. Mam to Duffy. On to Reece Walsh in the play again. Intercepted by Khan Pereira. He's got the open space. 30 out, 40 over halfway. And guess what? There's no fullback to chase him. Mam's chasing him but gives up the chase here. And Khan Pereira scores a 90-metre try for the Warriors. Just when it seemed, Billy, like the Bronx had some momentum. The Warriors down a man make it 14-0, kick to come.
ABC Sport. Indigenous round. Recognising the contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to the game of rugby league.
20 points to nil, the halftime score here at Lang Park in Brisbane. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack here. Your texts are welcome, 0467920222. Kevin's in Auckland, up the Waz, and listening online via the ABC Listen app. A couple of you have sent longer texts here I'll get to, maybe post-game, which I can't quite deviate from the action here too much, but thank you to those who have sent texts, and I'll get to those when I get a chance here as well. A couple are about the Bears. I want to ask you, Billy, later on about the Queensland coaching situation, which I know we're discussing a little bit pre-game off there with Zane Bojack as well. So all that's still to come. Of course, recap the day's play so far, where Canberra beat Cronulla and Para beat the North Queensland Cowboys, but we're just seconds away here from the resumption in the second half. And how do the Broncos even think about considering getting back in the game from 20 points to nil down, Billy Moore?
They need a completion rate which matches the Warriors in their first half. Warriors 90%. They're going to be around those numbers, and then they need someone like Ezra Mayer, Billy Walters and Tom Duffy to play a huge role in this second half.
Broncos kick us off here. Tuapiki feeds it back to Stowers Smith, the first hit up of this second half, and he's met there by Gajewski. So I fancy Gajewski's been used off the bench to start this second half. We didn't see anyone other than Gemet Shibasaki, who came into the action after Reece Walsh was taken out of the game. So no Reece Walsh with the syndesmosis, we believe, and then Luke Metcalf for the Warriors with a hamstring injury. So more concerns there in their playmaker stocks for the Warriors, despite their impressive season so far, and their 20-0 halftime scoreline here. 8 shy of halfway. Played there by Laban. Dummy half Egan goes to his right nickel. Klugstar penetrates the halfway line. Run down from behind by Gajewski. Comes across to Harris Tavita. Kicks from 40 out. Down towards the wing there for Anderson. And he's now on that left-hand side of the park, Grant Anderson, and will play it 8 metres out from his own line, Milton Road, or southern end of the famous Cauldron, where the Broncos have not won their past 7 home games, played by Karapani. Duffy off here now. Mariner goes for a trot, too quick for Stowers Smith, not so for Barnett. And Halasima, tackle 20 out here on the red paint, rolls it back for Billy Walters, off to Carrigan, pressing through centre field here, again into the tackle of Eremia Tawaba and Jacob Laban. 30 out here, Carrigan. Walters goes to his left this time. And again, the Warriors defence so strong, Billy, to hem in this Broncos side, still 35 out from their own line. So that was the run in there from Albits Tafa, his first game since round 17. So Tafa and Gajewski used off the bench out of the halftime break. We get the Zane Bojack shortly as the Warriors bring the ball back here for their second set of this second 40. Khan Pereira off to Harris Tavita, and now Watane Zalesniak. As I said, more double barrels than a Civil War reenactment. The Warriors line up as they go metre shy of halfway. Off it comes here to Ali Lea Tower, and he's 40 out from that southern line here. Can they spread this Broncos defence to the left-hand side? Egan goes in that direction. Barnett steps infield here. Tackled by Walters. Offload here, Messi for Stowers Smith. Covered by him. Shares it with Nickel Klugstar. Now the Warriors fullback is wrapped up by Gajewski. 35 out from that southern line. Egan goes from dummy half here. Gains a quick 10. Offloads back now to Nickel Klugstar. And he's to within 20 of the Broncos line now. Last play of Warriors. 20 points to nil their lead. 2.5 gone second half. Tuapiki. Off it comes here now to Lea Tower. And he's dragged towards the western touchline there by Shibasaki. And that will be a Broncos ball 10 metres out from that southern line. Down to Zane Bojack on the touchline. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, Spriggy. Andrew Webster will be upset because he said, guys, I want good finishes to the sets, and he said, I want simple game plan with no halfback, simple game plan through the middle, take them on, beat them. As for the Broncos, they had some massive legends. Steve Renoff, Peter Ryan, Greg Kinescu, they had Brad Thorne, all in the tunnel trying to inspire the troops as they ran out. And the message from Michael Maguire was commitment. Come on, show some fight. Show that you can compete with these guys. Show that you were the premiers last year.
Yeah, old boys' day for the Broncos tonight here at Lang Park. So that significant occasion as well. Here's Carrigan, and he falls here in the tackle of Eremia Tawaba. Played 8 short of halfway. As it comes to the left-hand side now on this next run from Mariner. And he's met on the western side logo. In fact, it is actually Albus Tafa who's out there. So his second carry of the game. Back to Duffy to win the set here for the Broncos. Down to that northern goal line. Taken by Tane Tuapiki. And Tuapiki escapes the Gajewski tackle, but cut down shortly thereafter by Ricky. He's still wrestling to a peaky in the ruck here, Jordan Ricky. Not letting him go. It's one more warning there from referee White Raymond. Warriors back away here, 20 points to nil their lead.
Well, the first 3 carries, every set of 6. That's where the Warriors set up the platform that they attack off. And there are 6 again because the run by the winger, Dalawatine-Zalesnik, was so good. He just caught the Broncos napping, as Wade Egan does yet again with a penalty.
Played 2 now, penalty. So just repeat ball after repeat ball here for the Warriors inside their own end, which will piggyback them downfield here to look to add more points to that 20-0 scoreline. Just quickly, I like this from Lucas in a strangely warm Canberra tonight. He says, "Hey Spriggy, as a native West Australian and with the Bears coming, what are the odds of WA folks not calling league rugby anymore?" Glad to see the Raiders get up today, even if it's too little too late. Up the milk from Lucas in a strangely warm Canberra. Yeah, I think it still happens in Melbourne. You hear Melburnians, Victorians call it rugby, and there's still a passionate following of Storm fans there, so it'll take a while, I think. Just be nice to them, our friends out west. 30 out, 20 in here.
We had a win in the rugby tonight, Spriggy.
That's right. The Wallabies 3 in a row now, Zano. Great call earlier from you. Here's Stowers Smith, Egan. Off here now for Barnett. 15 out from that southern line, which the Broncos are defending. Warriors 20 points to nil here. The future Bronco. Barnett plays it to Egan. Off to Harris to Vita. And now to Tuapiki. And he just goes on a jinking run here, but run down by Tafa. Rolls it back in the ruck now for Egan. And now is there a grounding on this carry from Eramir Tawaba? Doesn't look like it, says referee White Raymond.
Review. Lucky, no try, tackle 5. I've got Eddie grounding the ball on the leg and it remains up over the goal line.
So the eagle-eyed White Raymond is sending this to the bunker where Chris Butler does the rest.
He put himself in good position here, Spriggy. Let's see the footage. Ends up on the
Great work.
Ball's currently up on the leg of Grant Anderson. You can see this angle, the ball always remains up and Eddie maintains possession. We have a decision.
There we go. So that will be replayed here on tackle 3, you heard there, for the Warriors. Well, not replayed, but was resumed. Tackle 5. Last. Sorry, I think I said 3. Yeah, it is the last. Now the kick comes from Harris to Vita. Through the air and crashing down. Bornall Nickel Klugstar. Well, that's making the most of that last play. That's all the Warriors needed. The kick came in, Nickel Klugstar ran back with the flight, and his teammate Laban running shotgun. But the fullback Nickel Klugstar scores the try. It was Sinbin in the first half, but he scores his own 4 points here early in their second half. 24-0 kick to come Warriors after 6.5 minutes in the second half. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport, Billy Moore.
Spriggy, have a look at this. That time to get themselves set, the Bronx. I know Walsh is not there. Anderson's the fullback. Watch who's around the ball. And when it gets up in the air, the 2 closest people, there's no Broncos there. And obviously ends up in the hands of Charles.
Looks like Laban got there first.
I reckon Laban's knocked on, guys.
Yeah.
It looks like you're
Zano, Laban's sort of, paddled that ball into the lap of Nickel Klugstar, who's given a very convincing celebration. But on this angle, we'll see here what actually happens in front of those, on the front of those bodies.
Did it go back? It came out of his hands, but did it go backwards, Spriggy?
Laban gets first hands. Does he share it backwards? Well, they're both moving forwards.
It does look as it's shared backwards, but it depends on interpretation here.
Because they're both moving forward in momentum to sort of, take that high ball. It's 2 teammates competing for it against each other.
And Constantine is behind Laban, or it depends on his interpretation. That's quite confirmed.
Okay, there we go.
But the thing there was no Broncos competing. The only 2 that competed were Warriors. Just shows you how dislocated the Broncos are at the moment. And how many points did you say for the Warriors to jump Penrith?
I think it's 45.
45, eh? Well.
So they're on track. Look out Broncos, look out Penrith as well. The Warriors could be in second spot tonight. Here's Chanel Harris to Vita, 19 out, 20 in, western side, to make it 26-0, and he sends it right across the face. So he had 2 successful penalty goals in the first half. That's his first miss tonight. Down to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Yeah, 38,916 here to watch. I tell you what, boys, I know you're Bears fans, but Gemma Chiwasaki, Mel's going to have to do some major reformation of his confidence, because he was one of the players that just watched on on then. He had to compete for that football. He didn't do so. Made it too easy for Nickel Klugstar to score the try.
So, Broncos getting us back underway. Get some more text here when I get a chance. Kick down towards the goal line here at the Caxton Street end, and Stowers Smith powers away from there. He's met by Carrigan and Walters on that 10-metre line here. The Warriors running out of their own northern end of Lang Park. There's Eremia Tueva. 20 out from his own line here after the run on tackle 2. Across the right-hand side, it's Ezra Mam. Wraps up Laban. Carrigan in there as well. 30 out the Warriors. Barnett moving, takes it now, but no real gain beyond that as Ricky stops him 40 out. Egan back to his right now for Tuapiki. And Tuapiki put down there by Ricky. This will be last play. 5 shy of halfway for the Warriors, who lead 24-0. If they can double that or thereabouts and hold the Broncos to no score, they will clinch second spot by tonight, midway through, well, 2 games to go anyway, in round 24. And now it's been, that's going to be a penalty here going the Broncos' way.
Marcus not standing square by the looks of that. Towers Smith, but is there a challenge coming?
That's a challenge. Rocky. On-field ruling is ruck interference. He comes back through the space.
Big call here by the Warriors.
Let's see what Chris Butler has to say about this in the bunker.
Get him down. Come on.
Ready, Bucky?
Just looking at another angle to see if Tanner re-enters the rock.
He does appear to sort of...
Tanner re-enters the space of the rock, hitting the ball, dislodging it, which is rock interference. The captain's charge is unsuccessful.
There we go. The on-field call will stand, as will the scoreline for now of the Warriors 24, the Broncos 0.
Challenge from a front rower is always dangerous territory.
And you say it as a former forward yourself.
100%. I was back row.
Yes. Okay. So you don't sort of associate front row and back row as being, you're all part of the pack, but there's a differentiation between.
There is a certain time when you disassociate from the front row.
Hey,
Spriggy, what are you doing?
what? Well, I know they talk about front rowers, but I mean,
At certain time you love them. Certain times, no. There's a
here they
difference.
go. 24-0 here, and Shibasaki on the western side logo will play it
They're
now.
fighting words, eh, Bill?
Oh, well, I didn't know it was that bad. Second play here for the Broncos, and that will be penalty for a high tackle on the carry from Willison. So he was met there by Laban, I think, in the end. It was penalised.
Well, Spring, the good thing here for the Broncos fans, they're going to get a really good tackle opportunity here. The Bronx, Duffy puts the ball in a touch, so you can have a full set, 30 metres out. Let's see if there's anything left in their attacking machine.
Well, tap 30 out here, Shibasaki shares it with Jaden Hunt, and he stands in a 3-man tackle here, 26 metres out left-hand side of the post here at Lang Park. We've played 10 minutes in this second half. Mam tries to explode away here. He's run down by Tuapiki and Stowers Smith. 12 out left-hand side of the sticks. Willison off to Carrigan, and he darts one way then the other before being run down by Stowers Smith and then Eremia Tueva. Walters a flat ball bordering on forward there for Payne Haas. Meters shy of that Warriors line now with a couple of plays left in the set. Walters fires it back here now for Duffy. Can they find some points? Mam off now to Shibasaki. Taken out on the legs there by Nickel Klugstar. Last play Broncos. 5 out. Desperate stuff for them in attack. Can they find something? Duffy's crossfield kick. Who's on the end of it down there? Batted forward by either the Warriors first, Alagi last touch. Was it Halasima or was it one of those Broncos trying to score a try?
Referee's called. It's touched off the Warriors. Good D by the Warriors there. The Bronx had good shape. They really put together a good attacking set of 6. Ball goes in the air. I thought for sure the Bronx were going to get a try out of this. A bit messy, but yeah, for me it's the Warriors' touch.
So it will be a line drop out here for the Warriors. 24-0 remains their lead here. 11 gone second half. How good would it be to have a Wars v Finns GF? Both exciting, very talented teams.
He's changed the call there.
He's changed the call here.
Bronx, last touch.
20-metre restart and 7 tackles set, or in fact just a 6 tackles set, per the new rule here for the Warriors. And so they will have it 25 out from their own line. 24-0 is the lead. Wars v Finns GF, says Cookie in Brisbane Beach. Hopefully Tigers tomorrow. Yeah, they're up against St George Illawarra. Just going through the motions and the Walsh tackle accidental. That's we're inside Broncos territory.
Accidental doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. We said, but I think that looked pretty deliberate there. The Nickel Klugstar tackle to a Bickie's head ripped off down there by Ricky. Nothing doing by way of a penalty. Warriors come short side left on this last play to kick from Harris to Vita. Up it goes and launch off the 10-metre line. Anderson comes down here back for the Warriors and 6 more. So coming off Anderson, Fisher Harris retrieves it. They come to the right-hand side to Martinez-Lesniak, who flies in the air and scores a typical Dallin Martinez-Lesniak try. 4 more for the Warriors. Here they come, 28-0 with still 28 minutes left and a kick to come, Billy.
Classic Warriors try, mistake by Anderson, and they made to pay straight away. The Warriors ball comes back. Then they've got an overlap down this western side, and they know there's no better try scorer than Dallin Martinez-Lesniak, and they get him the ball to him as quick as they can. It was really good work by Tower on the inside. Took the ball into the defensive line as far as he could, waited and threw him at the perfect timing. Gave DWZ the best chance to score, and looks like he has.
He scores those tries so often and so well. 19 tries now in 20 games for him, and he's 248th NRL game. Zane Bojack, he does that so well.
Oh, he's fantastic at scoring those tries where he's outside the touch line. He puts the ball down. His hand, has he actually put it on the whitewash? I tell you what, that's very close, but he knows how to finish.
Try.
That's a try.
I'm happy to give it to him. What about all the hyphens tonight? We've had tries to Nickel Klugstar, Martinez-Lesniak, Harris to Vita, Alafuana Pereira. They're all scoring tries.
There's 7 in the side. I think 7's their equal most.
Yep.
I've called up plenty of their games, the Warriors, so I should know. But he is a constant presence in their side, and he scores plenty of points as well. 19 tries on the year for Dallin Martinez-Lesniak. And here is the kick from Chanel Harris to Vita. So look at this, but the fat part of the ball,
Exactly right.
yeah, it's the green. So that shouldn't be an issue there. His foot doesn't come down, does it? No, that's a try. Try confirmed at last there for the Warriors. And that will be, of course, for them, make that now their 5th try of the game. So 5 unanswered tries. The Broncos being demoralised here at home. It's been the theme of their season. And despite missing their, second, third choice halfback, the Warriors, Luke Metcalf. Of course, no Reece Walsh. He was out in the first half with the ankle syndesmosis. But here is Chanel Harris to Vita on this western sideline. 21 metres out, right side to left footer, and he brings it back BEA beautifully. 30-0 is the Warriors' lead here. We've played 13 and a half minutes in the second half. There's still 26 and a half to go. 0467 920 222. Bombo the Swamp Rat says, I don't think Reece Walsh was even going to play World Cup unless through injuries. Talking about whether the injury would cost him World Cup. Of course, Tedesco and Edwards left him for dead this year, says Bombo Swamp Rat.
Agree.
I mentioned one from Lucas before as well. Filthy Phil says, love hearing Billy. Old school Bears hard man, thinking going from Wests to Bears. Would you take an old Magpie in, Bill?
100%.
Filthy Phil, don't give up on the Tigers, although fair enough, it's been a while. Filthy Phil often texts in his frustrations during a West Tigers game.
We take all.
Yeah.
Come West, young man. Old man, any man.
Just while we're on, Billy, can I welcome you to the front rowers union, Bill? I'm a card-carrying member. I hope you can do the raffle for our next meeting.
20 out from that northern line here. As Fisher Harris, speaking of front rowers, is tackled there for the Warriors. Plays it here for Egan. Off to the right-hand side. Laban gets over the 30-metre line here for the Warriors. And now rolls it back for Egan here on this second last play. He slingshots Nickel Klugstar forward here, followed by Haas. Offloads back to Tuapiki, and he takes on, is it Moser out there? It's, Black Moser out there in the action there. Now he's back on the defensive line. Last play, Warriors, 30 points to nil their lead. They'll kick from 30 out through Harris to Vita. Opportunity down there for the Broncos to defend their line, and the high ball taken by Karapani. And they'll play it meter out from that southern goal line here. The Broncos hemmed in their own end, and it's the Warriors who just keep piling in tackles, adding points, and that's just, again, more just demoralising stuff there. Karapani, that came cold off his chest into the path of the Warriors. They've got the footy here with a full set, 10 out to the Broncos line.
That's poor play by the Broncos. Again, put themselves in harm's way, and the Warriors are in the mood. They will make them pay.
Fisher Harris here, attacking the posts. He's dragged back 8 metres out from the Broncos line. Egan from dummy half, engineers the pass right. Harris to Vita, back on the inside now here for Jacob Laban. Third-year first-grade player, as I said, been a bit of a fringe player across the past couple of years. Been more regular this year, Jacob Laban. Scored the first try tonight. Here's Eremia Tueva, backs his way here into Willison. 5 out in front of the post here for the Warriors, who lead 30 points to nil. Egan back to his right now for Harris to Nickel Klugstar, and now again for the corner. He goes himself this time, Leotawa. He showed the ball on the outside there to DWZ, but goes himself this time, Leotawa, and it's just an absolute rout here for the Warriors. 34-0 kick to come. We are not yet in the final quarter of this game, Billy.
Yeah, terrible drop by Karapani, and then the Warriors, they show patience to get themselves set from the middle of the field. Absolute beautiful shape, either side of the park. Could have went left, decided to go right, and Klodstad, beautiful ball to Leotawa, and he was just, everyone was waiting for him to pass. And a terrible miss there by Shibasaki. He was marking up on him tonight. He was absolutely left grasping in thin air, and that was far too soft. Poor defence by the Broncos. Well done, the Warriors.
Back to the touchline, Zane Bojack.
11 career tries in 33 games for Ali Leotawa, who's also Samoan eligible, wondering whether he can force his way in. There's just that's going to be a star-studded team in that World Cup coming up later this year. But I tell you what, boys, this time last year, the Australian centre was Gavin Shibasaki. He was outstanding, not only the back end of the season for the Broncos as they won the premiership, but was wonderful over in the UK playing for the Kangaroos. Where is he gone? Can someone tell me? I can't find him anywhere.
Confidence, my friend, he's lost it.
Ali Leotawa, by the way, 4 tries this season before tonight, all in wins. So I think we know what's going to happen anyway. But when he scores tries, they win. They'll win this game as well. 34-0. Here's Harris to Vita. He's 22 out and a couple in from the western side, having kicked 3 out of 4 so far tonight. And again, same as before, he nails this one. So he's 4 from 5. And make that scoreline now. The Warriors 36, the Broncos 0, and there are some Panthers fans a bit nervous. They're going to lose their top 2 spot. The Warriors are coming, Bill.
Yeah, right now you think it's inevitable. There's still 23 minutes, as you said. We're not into the last quarter of the game, so you think it's inevitable they'll get the required 44 points. The other thing, Spriggy, think about the middles that are on the park right now for the Broncos. You've got Xavier Willison paired up with the great Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan. Where is the middle domination of the Broncos gone? They've absolutely been blown off the park by the Warriors here tonight.
17 gone, 23 left in this second half. Still with Brett Sprigg alongside Billy Moore and Zane Bojack here, NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. And the AFL around the ground second quarter. Collingwood 45 leads Hawthorn 25. In Adelaide, Melbourne 44 leads Port Adelaide 7. I think that's in the second quarter there as well. Behind there maybe as well on that score. So I'll get back to you on that one. I'll also recap all the things later on after play here. After the game here, play on day 4 in Darwin for the cricket tomorrow as well on ABC Listen. Can Australia rescue that game? They feel a bit like the Brisbane Broncos at the moment. 35 out from that northern line. Egan goes short side left on last play for the kick from Harris to Vita from behind the 40. And it's fielded down there by Grant Anderson. Runs back here into Halasima. And And that tackle there gets the applause of Billy Moore. 30 out 20 in Broncos back on the attack. Comes to Karapani. Tries to rock foot Nickel Klugstar. Won't make any chance of that. 36-0 the scoreline here. They win by 44 or more, or 45 or more. They will displace Penrith from second spot. The Warriors, of course, they beat the Penny Panthers last week at home. This will be another win here on Australian shores. Admittedly, they haven't had a lot of those this year, or sort of big scalps on Australian shores. And I guess the Broncos wouldn't be a big scalp in their current iteration, but either way, the Warriors will take confidence from every win, especially if they finish top two. Get the necessary advantages that come with that. Last play, Broncos. Kick goes down towards the Khan Pereira wing. 20 out from his own line there, where he's met by Mariner and Staggs. Warriors go back on the attack from that part of the ground. 19 gone, 21 left in the second half. 36-0 is the scoreline.
This was probably the worst performance of the Broncos this year. And the crowd, 38,000, a lot of Warriors here. What I've noticed is the Broncos crowd aren't leaving, Spriggy. This must be the real Russell ones who know that this is a side that is on the decline and are accepting it.
40 out here, 20 in Western side. Dummy half Healy in the action there for the Warriors. So Healy, Stowers, Smith, Eremia Tuova and Tane Tuapiki, their bench players used tonight. As the kick from Harris Tawita ends the set now for the Warriors. Onto the chest down there of this man in Dean Mariner, and Stowers Smith runs him down from behind. 35 out. Now it's going to be 6 more tackles here. A set restart for the Broncos. As strong run here from Anderson. Ran past one tackler. Spun a full 360 in the tackle, and now still going Anderson before he's cut down by Stowers Smith and Fisher Harris. 30 out from the Warriors line. The Broncos getting into attacking position here. Shibasaki dummy half shares it with Mam. Duffy thought he saw the gap, which closed quickly. 30 out from that Warriors line. Caxton Street, end of Lang Park. Dummy half Moser back here now for Willison. So that means as well they've used Tafa, Gajewski, Moser and Shibasaki. The 20 out to that northern line here. It's going to be a set restart here for the Broncos. So 12 out from that northern line. Moser goes from dummy half here on this first play of the new set and cut down now 5 shy of that northern line in front of the uprights. 19 and a half left. Warriors 36, Broncos 0. Pass comes across for Duffy. Inside ball now is back here to Jaden Hunt. Rolls it back for Moser. Off to Duffy. Tackled now by Eremia Tuova. He's slow getting up here, the young halfback, but he'll play it. 5 out from the uprights, northern end. Moser looks right but goes left here, and that allows Willison to burst through and score the try for the Brisbane Broncos. There are loud cheers. Might be some Bronx cheers as well. Well, excuse the pun. But the Bronx are in. 36-4. Kick to come, Brisbane. At last, the home side's on the board. Billy Moore in the, late stages of this second half.
Well, that's probably their best set of 6. They've been absolutely pounded all night, but they were able to breach the Warriors' defence, and it wasn't complicated. Really good run in that set of 6 by Grant Anderson, which got him into the backfield. And from that moment on, the Warriors just didn't seem to be able to control the Broncos as well as they had all night. And then Blake Moser, the heir apparent potentially to the hooking role here in Billy Walters next year. You can see he's got class. He shaped one side and came back, shaped right, came back to his left and put Xavier Wilson through a lovely little hole off the back of a beautiful pass.
He's the last remaining player to have played every game this year for the Broncos. Ben Tulty had played every game until this week. And Xavier Willison scores his 7th try on the year. Here is Tom Duffy, slight angle left-hand side, makes no mistake with the kick. So 36-6 is the scoreline here. Back to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Well, up until that point, the Broncos had moved to minus 200 on the goal differential or points differential on the ladder, which meant they're only 65 points in front of the Dragons, who, of course, are 3 wins behind. So we know that the Dragons are coming home strong. They would hate to have the wooden spoon, the Broncos. So at least that brings them back to minus 194 now. But Xavier Willison, 2 games for New Zealand. I tell you what, he's going to be a strong chance of being part of that New Zealand lineup in the World Cup, and I think he's going to be an absolute sensation. Imagine him part of the lineup. Oh, there'll be some good cracker players in that Kiwi team.
Fancy it being tougher to break the Samoan team than the England team. As I saw Jamie Humphries was talking about maybe trying to qualify for England. Well, nothing against Jamie Humphries, but I mean, as you say, the Samoan teams are knocking back a few good players, as are New Zealand.
Well, the New Zealand middles are amazing.
Yeah.
You think you got Tarpany, Fisher Harris, and then you got someone like Xavier Wilson knocking on the door.
World Cup year, of course, in Rugby League here. Right now it's NRL round 24. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Long pass across here in centre field now for the try scorer, Willison. 20 out to his own line. Moser darts it across now for Mam. And now Jaden Hunt lost one tackler. And now he is claimed by his opposite number in Kurt Capewell. Play at 30 out from that southern line. Payne Haas on a strong centre field carry before Healy stops in concert with Deremere Tueva. 40 out from that southern line. 17 left in this second half as Duffy ends the set for the Broncos, just punting it down towards that northeastern corner. Khan Pereira skips into the waiting man in Mam, and he sort of bounced off him, and then Wilson does grab him 30 out. Warriors back on the attack, 36-6 their lead, 16:40 left in this. As I was saying before as well with the bench, so of course they can still use Ben Hunt, for example, of course, because of the foul play which brought Sibasaki into the game in the absence of Reece Walsh. Ball's been lost here by the Warriors, which will give the Broncos a scrum feed on halfway here at Lang Park, and this crowd of 38,916 somewhat stunned with what they've seen. The Broncos did score the most recent try in the game, but the Warriors control things here a little more, switching to 36 points to 6.
Knock on there by the Warriors. That's something we haven't seen all night. Their completion rate is around the 90% mark. It's been phenomenal, but this is the best patch of play I think we've seen from the Broncos all night, and they're just as likely to score some more points.
Stags, right-hand side of the scrum, gains a quick 10 now. He's 40 out, 20 in, eastern side. Moser off here now for Jordan Ricky, and Ricky collected there 30 out in the tackle of James Fisher Harris. Moser across to his left now for Anderson, and now Duffy through the gap, bursting through Shibasaki, and he's cut down by Nickel Klugstar, and still a couple left in the set here now for the Broncos. Is trying to thread his way through here is Orbitz Tafa, who turned 27 on Tuesday, former Dolphin. Comes to the left-hand side now for the Broncos. Man trying to catch Hillier on-footed. Offloads back to Moser on second last play. Back now for Big Payne Haas. Shows away one tackler here. He breaks the leg tackle there of Halasima. Still going Payne Haas. Off to the corner here now as it's kept alive by Mariner. Flick past Clever to Stags. Stags slowed down there by Capewell. Now it's last play eventually for the Broncos. Great run from Payne Haas all the way to the sideline. Now Duffy's kick goes up in the air, same part of the ground. 10 metres out, hitting from the eastern side. Bobbled away by Anderson, recovered somehow by the Broncos. Still the last play for Brisbane. Mam running kick, probing through here. He's chasing it, but the Warriors might get there first. It's grounded in the in-goal area by Leah Tower. I think it was knocked on first, though, by the Warriors anyway. It'll be a line dropout, regardless here for the Warriors, who lead 36 points to 6 with 14 and a half left in this game. Back to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Well, I wanted you to do a bit of a Ray Warren. Somebody stop him, because what about Payne Haas? I reckon he beat about 8 Warriors in that run. If you want to talk about dedication, he's showing commitment out there. They're going short. Here the Warriors, Spriggy.
They will go short, and this does not go the required 10. So this will be Brisbane ball, 10 metres out from that northern line here, with a chance for more consolation points for the home side.
Let's see what they can produce. As I said, this is the best football they've played all night, the Broncos. Far too late, but at least they're giving the crowd something to enjoy before they head out of the stadium.
10 out to the western side. It comes here to Xavier Willison, the game's most recent try scorer. And that Broncos pack rolls it back here. So a set restart there from referee Wyatt Raymond. Moser to his right now for Mam. Catch a release to Duffy. They took it to the right-hand side. Anderson off to Staggs. Will be taken high by Khan Pereira. Ref Wyatt Raymond says, yes, it will be penalty going Broncos.
We're asking some really good questions of the Warriors defence now.
Anderson's been clipped as well. I thought it was more the Stags action here, but referee Wyatt Raymond's going to bring the play back. And Anderson's getting up now.
Good late. Oh, it's a high shot, yeah.
So that was the Stags one, the Khan Pereira.
Yeah, and then
Anderson was,
So Anderson passed with absolutely hammered late, but the referee got for a high shot on Stags.
There's a still a little property in back place. Keep an eye on him, Zano. 13 left in the game. Warriors 36, Broncos 6 here. Deep with the Caxton Street end of Lang Park. Moser across now for Duffy. On the inside now here for Willison. Tries in back-to-back games for him against the Dolphins last week and, of course, here against the Warriors tonight. Duffy. Wrap-around ball here now for Ricky. Ricky brought down here in the Fisher-Harris tackle. Ricky's also played, of course, for the Kiwis internationally. The Māori All-Stars on a few occasions. Carrigan. Off here it comes to Duffy and now Mam as it was passed behind the man out there in Karapani and out over the western touchline. So, again, the Warriors hang on, I suppose, and they'll have more ball here at 15 out from their own line. Northern end, Warriors 36, Broncos 6 with 12 left in the game. Back to Zane Bojack on the touchline.
Can I give a shout out to my good mate Stan, the taxi man? He said there's a heap of Broncos supporters just walked out the front. He said, you know how I know there's a lot of them? I said, why is that? He said, because I was one of them.
Dave also in the cab says if the Warriors score 50, Brisbane can't win the comp. Yeah, very good, Dave. I think they've already got up 50 a couple of times this year, the Broncos, I want to say, off the top of my head. 11:50 left in this first half. Played by Eremia Tueva and Healy dummy half. Off to find James Fisher-Harris, of course, won 4 premierships as a Penrith Panther. And comes back here on tackle 3. Cut down 40 out from his own line. There's the big fella in Aaron Tlaib. He was also among their try scorers against the Panthers last week. Healy corrects the pass left here. Tueva on some run here. Halasima fends off one tackle there in Duffy. He'll play it now a couple inside Broncos territory here for the Warriors on this last play. Through hands it comes left to right. Now the kick goes up from Kane to a Peaky. Called for down there by Anderson and nailed 25 out from his own line by James Fisher-Harris. Warriors 36, Broncos 6, 11 left in this second half. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport with Brent Sprague, Willie Moore and Zane Bojack.
Interested to see what the Warriors, how they attack in the last couple of minutes. They're obviously going to worry about a halves combination because they've lost Metcalf. So let's just see if we just see maybe a combination to a Peaky filling in there at the moment, whether that's something they go with next week.
A run here from Auckland-born Dean Mariner against the Warriors. Carrigan beats it back to Moser centre field. Moser explodes away here. Offloads out of the Tuapiki tackle to Anderson. Now the kick from Mam. Played out and recovered there by the Warriors.
Harris Tavita, beautiful catch.
So he gets up slowly here. Chanel Harris Tavita and he'll play it eventually. He's just cramming up a bit here, Zano. 20 out, 20 in from the western side and just takes his time here. Chanel Harris Tavita with 10 minutes left on the clock. Warriors 36, the Broncos 6. Zane Bojack.
Yeah, he's still getting treatment for that cramp. It's perhaps not a bad idea just to slow things down. I think the Warriors have got just a little bit frantic. They haven't been defending as well, and they haven't been as structured as Khan Pereira goes for a run. I thought he might have got taken high, Spriggy.
Yes, Stewart says the Hyphens are not playing as one, but they are literally becoming number one. Yeah, they're on their way, the Warriors, to be a number one contender. G'day, Brett, Billy and Zane. We really enjoy your professional commentary. We'd enjoy it more if you could call a Broncos a try for our beloved Broncos. That's here they go, the Warriors. Nickel Klugstar back on the inside now for Healy. Goes the rest of the way from 10 metres out. And the Warriors respond here to what was the Broncos try a short time ago. Sorry, Tess, Sess and Baby Beck in the Western stand in front of us here. But the Warriors are in again. 40-6 kick to come. And the Sam Healy try with 9:20 left in the game.
Yeah, great work. for 55 metres out. They shoot down their right-hand side. That was very poor defence by the Broncos. A show and go by Nickel Klodstad. He beats Mam. He gets on the outside. There's Jagewski and
Jaden Hunt it is.
Dayton Hunt. Well, Sam Healy, a player I really think so valuable to the Warriors off the pine. He finished off a great run by the fullback. And he came up with a bit of a limp, Zano. Neil Hodgson, so I don't know if he's hurt himself at all, but he was living straight after he set up this try. But Sam Healy finished off a great play, gets him past 40, kick to come.
I know you're a WA man, Spriggy, but I don't know whether you played much touch footy growing up, but fair dinkum, that was touch football right there, although we are going up to the bunker. Fair dinkum, Hunt and Mam said, see you later, see you at CNK, and put Healy in. Wow, too easy.
Looking at the lead run here of Jacob, he's required to run to space or the inside shoulder. You can see at this point here, he runs it outline and runs to the outside shoulder of Jaden Hunt, who is inside.
That's right.
Charles now takes that direct space created by the lead runner, which is an obstruction.
There we go.
We have a decision.
So it won't be a seventh try for the Warriors, but a line through Sam Healy's 71st minute finish.
Can I just do this, Spriggy?
Yep. You can rewind.
Yeah, no problems there. They were obstructed, Spriggy. Not touch football.
Good on you, Zano. Peter, who's a Panthers supporter, says, I hate Reece Walsh, but that was unacceptable, referring to the tackle by Nickel Klugstad earlier. So, yeah, we'll discuss this as we go as to what kind of sanction awaits the Warriors fullback for that first half action, for which he was sin-binned, but plenty of you saying should have been send-off. It may well be a few weeks holiday for Charles Nickel Klugstad, despite the fact that Warriors look to be going deep into September, maybe October. Here goes Moser, inside 20 here now for the Broncos, off the back of that penalty. So this is only play 2. Play it, he's out from that northern line here. Duffy, flat ball into Payne Haas. And he backs his way into the contact of Jacob Laban with 8:55 left on the clock here. Dummy half Moser for Brisbane. Carrigan to Duffy. Immediately wrapped up down there by Nickel Klugstad. Legally this time. And play it. 16 out, left-hand side of the post. Carrigan, strong centre field run, takes a couple of defenders with him. And he'll play it now for the Broncos. Last play, 8 out from the Warriors line. Moser, back to Duffy, reaching for it now. Mam, he kicks, and there's no one there to gather it, apart from Nickel Klugstad, who in fact knocks it dead to force another Warriors goal line dropout. 36 points to 6 is the Warriors lead here with 8:20 left on the clock. Billy Moore on ABC Sport.
Yeah, on the left-hand side, they come in attack. Duffy holds the ball up nicely to Mam, and Mam, beautiful late kick through, well weighted. That's a bit of class there. We haven't seen much of it. It's too little too late to understand that, but that was classy play there by the halves combination of the Broncos. Another set of 6.
And he does go the short drop out again here, Harris to Vita. They fly through the air. Laban could have knocked it on here for the Warriors. Indeed, it will be the Broncos' ball inside that northern end red zone now, which the Broncos are attacking in. Reverend Rooster says Ezra Mam is clearly the leader in air tackles in the NRL this year. Maybe a year with the in a lower grade will help him regain his mojo. Thank you, Reverend Rooster.
3 tries last week.
Yes, Ezra Mam, he did score a hat-trick against the Dolphins last week.
Didn't count though. They ended up getting beaten.
He was on the bench, of course, at times earlier this year as well. Now he's the preferred 5'8" once more. Man, there he is, wrapped up down there in the tackle of Healy and also Eremia Tueva, who'll play it. 14 out from that northern line. Moser fires it across here now for his Broncos teammate. 8 metres out now. The man playing it out there is a man in Tafa. Man back on the inside for Carrigan. And the acting skipper is put on his back. 7 out right-hand side of the post. Moser goes to the blind side now with a dummy and a spin-off one tackle, and Moser is held up a metre shy here for the Broncos with a couple left in this set. They trail by a 30-point margin. Haas, burst receiver on the Duffy. The switch comes to the left-hand side. Anderson almost intercepted by Watmaz Lesniak, but he tips the ball out over the western line here, 20 shy of that northern line. So more Broncos ball here, not far away from you. Zane Bojack with 6.5 minutes left on the clock.
Well, look, the Broncos have done really well. If I have a look here at my book, what was it? 55 minutes, 36-0. So for the last 20 minutes or so, it's been 6-0 in favour of the Broncos. I mean, it's only small wins, but they've got to take something.
So, come across here, 15 out. Moser directs it to the right now for Payne Haas. And they're going to set restart here as well. So the Warriors, disappointed, sort of wilting here, but the game's in their keeping, Billy. As Moser goes to the left-hand side, Duffy off now for Wilson. So back-to-back set restarts. So 6 more tackles again here for the Broncos. The count restarts as Wilson gets up very slowly. So play it there for Moser. Left-hand side of the posts. Comes now to Mam. Off now to Duffy. Goes wide now for Staggs. And taken on by Khan Pereira and also Halasino. Play it 12 out there, Staggs. Dummy half Anderson. Across here now for the Broncos and brought to ground out there. 5 shy, right-hand side of the post is that man in Ricky. Rolls it back there for Moser. Off to Carrigan, held tightly there by Mitch Barnett. Meter out, right-hand side of the uprights. Couple of plays left in this set now for the Broncos. Moser across now for Duffy. On to Mam in the corner of Shibasaki. Breaks the DWZ tackle. And now it will be, in fact, it's second last play now, in fact, for the Broncos. Cross it comes through hands to Mam and now Duffy. They shift from left to right. Anderson kicks and chases. And I reckon first to it there will be Halasino, who grounds the ball in his own in goal. So another line dropout Warriors. Possession with the Broncos this last little while. But the Warriors still lead really more. 36 points to 6 with 4:40 left.
Yeah, great D by the Warriors. Usually being that passage of play, Halasima has getting cramp prevention right now to stretch his hammy. He actually fell out of the defensive line, and it shows you how they're not reading what's in front of themselves, the Broncos. Their halves weren't working properly. They gave a bit of a run a minute ago, but they were down on their left-hand side, the Warriors, and they couldn't go that way. They went right both times.
Drop out Harris, it's come away successful here for the Warriors, as launching 20 out was Laban.
Good work, Warriors.
They get the ball back from that short goal line dropout. Here goes Leotawa, bounce off 1 and 2 tackles here. Haas plays marker there, 30 out from that northern end. But the Warriors on the attack with a 36-6 lead. By the way, full-time AFLW, Bulldogs 40, Gold Coast 14. Other scores I mentioned as well, as we get to those shortly. Healy off to Mitch Barnett, now taken down there, down low by Ricky, up top Carrigan, 5 shy of the halfway. Healy back to his right now here for Tanner Stowers-Smith. A powerful second half for him, and he'll play at 40 out from Broncos line. Last play, Warriors, the lead of 30 here, as a probing ball goes into the back of Duffy from Harris to Vita. Not played out, says the referee, so it's still the last here as Healy's wrapped up by Duffy.
They calls that last play. You're right, it wasn't played out then. They'd actually kick it again, and they've got the set of 6.
Now it's going to reset, so here we go. The Warriors, and there's ploughing run from Stowers-Smith. 20 out, 20 in, eastern side here for the Warriors. To a peaky dummy half here. Off to Harris to Vita, and now Mitch Barnett backs his way into Payne Haas. And now Mitch Barnett will play it. 13 out from that southern goal line now. Healy comes to the blind side. On here now for Nickel Klugstar. Too quick for Payne Haas, but Haas and Anderson make a desperate tackle on him. Meter out here for the Warriors. Healy off to Aaron Clark, and he finds the opportunity here to score some points. Tackled down there again, this time by Payne Haas. 6 out left-hand side. Last play Warriors. Healy goes left-hand side to Harris to Vita, and now here's Halasima. Despite being surrounded by 3 Brisbane Broncos, he scores a try in the corner. That wrecking ball, Leka Halasima, the club's leading try scorer last year, scores some late points here for the Warriors. 40-6, kick to come with 2.5 left on the clock.
They won't take this one off from Spriggy. Great play by the Warriors. Going in their left-hand side. Beautiful sweeping play. Strip the Broncos of numbers. And rather than go to the winger, when you're as big as this guy, Leka the Wrecker, surrounded as you said, but there's no way they were going to stop him. 3 guys around him, goes through Stagg, goes through Mariner. He's just too big, too strong. Well done, the left-hand winger here, so left-hand centre for the Warriors. Warriors. That gets them to 40, kick to come.
And I said, Zano, he was their leading try scorer last year. It's not been as fruitful for him this year by way of tries, but still having a fantastic contribution like Halasima.
Yeah, 7 tries this year, 20 through his career. Leka Halasima. I tell you what, I tweeted last week after watching that game against the Panthers, I was so impressed with him on the left-hand side. Absolutely torched Paul Alamotti. And I thought to myself, you know what? He is dead set a finals X-factor for the Warriors. I know Bill has mentioned that he's a bit of a defensive liability, but if you get some good ball to him on that left-hand side in attack, the Warriors are going to score plenty of points in September.
Comes their 7th different try scorer tonight for the Warriors, and here is Chanel Harris-Tavita, who's 22 out, the metre in from the eastern side. Broncos fans have made haste toward the exits. There's a passionate couple of blocks of Wars fans in that south-eastern corner of the ground. It's fantastic. Here's Harris-Tavita. Up goes his kick, and it hits the crossbar. Bounces back in the field of play. So he's missed that one, and he is 4 from 6 tonight. Chanel Harris-Tavita. Scoreline here is the Warriors 40, Broncos 6 with 90 seconds on the clock. Around the grounds, AFL third quarter. Hawthorn 58 leads Collingwood 48, and in Adelaide, halftime there, Melbourne 57 leads Port Adelaide 20. Earlier today, Canberra beat the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks 24-20, and Para beat North Queensland by 2 points at Western Sydney Stadium. In the NRLW, the Titans with the Dragons 26-10. Para beat Canterbury 30 points to 18, and the Sydney Roosters 34 beat the Brisbane Broncos here 20. The Broncos, by the way, women, only played 2 games here. That's the second of them before finals. But keep in mind, no men's team means they might be less inclined to do a double header and have the game here at Lang Park, as was the case last year. So anyway, Roosters remain unbeaten in the NRL women's competition in round 7. Here's Jacob Laban on the resumption here now for the Warriors. 40 points to 6, 58 seconds left on the clock. Comes to Mitch Barnett in centre field, and he crawls toward that 40-metre line here in the tackle of Payne Haas. Also replace Payne Haas next year. Haas off the south. Barnett comes to the Broncos. Here's Harris-Tavita off here to Tuapiki. And now Leka the Wrecker. Bounced off Staggs. Staggs still going with him here. Duffy gives chase. Halasima still going here with ball with his keeping on this second last play. And goes to fend off that man Willison. 38 out from that southern line. It will be played now here by the Warriors with 20 seconds left on the clock. Comes across to Harris-Tavita. It skids on the bounce here now for Laban. The back rower puts up the kick. Down toward the goals here where it's taken by that man out there in Mariner, and he will be playing it 5 out from his own line in these dying seconds. And I tell you what, the Warriors, it's been happening all year. They are an impressive team, and they've come here and they have utterly demoralised the reigning premiers. 40 points to 6 at the full-time hooter. The Warriors with their 15th victory of the year, making real claims, not just for top 4, but for top 2. They'll be equal second tonight, the New Zealand Warriors, and showing just why they are fancied so heavily in the premiership calculations, Billy Moore.
Oh, without a doubt, Spriggy, every facet of their game works. From their completion rates, their defensive integrity, their domination in the middle of the park, their backfield bringing the ball forward with power and passion, and the creativity of their spine. Even when they've got injuries and things look like they should get the wobble and come off the pace, they find a solution. And I'll tip spill it to Andrew Webster, their young coach, 44 years old. He took over the realm. He's in his 3rd year. He has actually masterminded a club that is on the surge everywhere they play. People come to watch them because they're good to watch.
They sure are. And 20-0 was the halftime score. 40 points to 6 in the end with a consolation try to the Broncos and Xavier Willison. So we'll get some reaction from Zane Bojack down amongst the players. And of course, your texts are welcome, 0467 920 222. We'll also wrap up, of course, the big day's footy across the men's and women's competitions between now and 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Time. So keep an eye on you, Zano, which is fantastic. You're always doing a great power of work here at Lang Park. As I say, the crowd has certainly thinned out. 38,916, the final crowd figure. We get down to you, Zane, first of all.
Yeah, I'm down here with a very proud Wiradjuri man out of Wellington. It's Indigenous round, Katoni Stags. You had your hands tied out there with big Leka Halasima coming at you. What was that experience like?
Yeah, he's obviously, it's not his main position. He's doing well for him, and I just had to do my job on him. And obviously, he's a big boy, and I knew how to get my body in front of him, and thought I did well on him today.
The last 20 minutes, the Broncos started to get some possession, started to put some things together. What was the story of this game? I mean, it was pretty tough for you guys from the outset, particularly losing Reece. I mean, I've got to ask you, Charles Nickel-Klugstar just congratulated you, but do you think you should have been sent off for that hip drop?
It's a tough one. Obviously, the hip drop's, it's one of them things that can go either way. So, yeah, obviously he got sent, but obviously losing Reece, it's, we can't put it all on the Reece's back. We have players out there that can slot straight in and do the job. So I felt like we just kept putting pressure on ourselves, and it wasn't going our way.
You guys were in this sort of form last year. Can you believe how good the Warriors are going this season?
Yeah, obviously they've been built for the last 3 or 4 years, and I'll take my hats off to them. They're stuck to it, and obviously they're chasing something that they've never really experienced to win a premiership. So I wish them all the best, and hopefully we can finish this year off. Send our fans out on a high, because they deserve it, and it's very disappointing.
Just finally, the Raiders, the Bulldogs, and the Storm to finish. How important is it that you guys do show some fight in the next 3 weeks?
Oh, there's no doubt we're not showing. We're showing fight. We can't blame our efforts there. We're turning up. We just keep giving silly penalties, silly errors away, and it's not where we want to be. And we hopefully turn around in the next 3 weeks.
Thank you, Katoni.
Cheers. Thank you.
Tony Staggs there with Zane Bojack here after the 40-6 defeat for the Broncos. Now 8 straight losses here at home with, as Zane said, 3 games to come. Away to Canberra next week. That's the 6 p.m. game on Friday. Then Melbourne here at home at Lang Park. Then Canterbury away. Just the one more home game to come, which may or may not be a Adam Reynolds farewell game. Let's get into the winners camp here and hear from one of the Warriors, and Zane Bojack. Chanel's with you.
Yeah, I'm down here with Chanel, number 6. What a star he is, mate. You ended up having to take the kicks there, didn't you, because of Luke Metcalf? What about that? Another goal kicker going down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Matt. He puts a lot of work into his preparation, and I feel for the bloke. I'll go and check on him after this, but I just thought our middles really stood up under pressure, and we had a period there we went down to 12, and usually in that period you try and manage the game and try not to get too much fatigue under the legs, but I thought Loffy came out with a big play under pressure, and I think that was the theme of the night. Just people doing their job.
Now I got to ask you, you've had Tanner Boyd go down, you've had Tamari Martin go down, now Luke Metcalf, you've got Jet Cleary and you've got Luke Hansen, but you're the constant here. How hard has it been? You just keep having these revolving doors of halfbacks.
That's not hard. That's not hard for me, because I got good players around me. Like I got Kurt Capewell, Leka Halasima, and Lofi Camperera on my edge, and halves would die to have that sort of calibre on their edge, and I'm just grateful to have them. And I've got middles that just work their arse off every game, and that makes it easier for me.
Yeah, you got another top 8 battle next week, taking on the Rabbitohs. You're ready to take on the Rabbitohs and Wayne Bennett, because they've been hitting some pretty good form in recent weeks as well.
Yeah, they had a solid win last night. They're playing some great footy at the moment, so we're going to have to be on our game, but we'll worry about that next week. We'll enjoy tonight.
All right, well, there's lots of Warriors supporters here that want to celebrate with you. Thanks so much for chatting to us, Chanel.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Chanel Harris, 3 to here for the Warriors. 4 from 6 tonight. He had, with a line break, a try of his own, of course, a try assist, 2 tackle breaks as well for Chanel Harris Tavita. I might get time for one more quick one, Zane. I've got a few things to wrap up as well from the day's footy here, and you've had a big day as well, calling rugby earlier today. We may yet hear from DWZ, who's just having a chat to SJ7, one of his old teammates, Sean Johnson. Hold tight. We'll see if we can. Must be great seeing these guys have a nice chin wag. Let's see if we have a chat down to.
Sorry, bro. You sure?
He's going to see his family. Fair enough. He's brushed on, which is not a nice thing to do. But anyway,
I think because because I broke in. Anyway, there you go.
Fair enough, mate. That's all right. Zano, look, great stuff. We're going to wrap things up here with a few other things from earlier and look at this game and a few things out of this game. But give us your final summation, Zane, from your touchline vantage point, because there'll be a few things out of this, of course. The Charles Klugstar, actually, we'll get one more from you. Down to you.
Yeah, quick one here. Got to grab him. One of my favourites, Kirk Well, what about that, mate? Coming back here. I know you're a former Bronco, but they're a different team to when you were here.
Yeah, mate, I love playing at Suncorp, being a Queenslander, and to get a win against the old team makes me pretty happy.
What about this Warriors armada? You just got so many attacking threats. You lose your halfback tonight and just everyone slots in.
Yeah, I thought we handled that really well, showed a lot of resilience. Players, we studied the game pretty hard and being able to do that, playing multiple positions, so it's a credit to the team and how we handled it.
So you're very close now to second spot. What's the thoughts? You're thinking that you can crack that top two and get a home final in the first week?
Oh, maybe it'd be bloody nice to do that, but our thoughts are just keep getting better. We're on the up, and we're going to just keep training hard and working on what we're not good at and finding out where we can get better, and that's what we're doing.
I'll tell you what, I don't think you can play any better than you are at the moment. Really appreciate chatting to you, Kurt, and best of luck, mate, next week against the Bunnies.
Thank you.
Kurt Catewell, sounds a bit like you, Billy. You're very similar sort of voice. Kurt Catewell there. Zano, just a quick thought for you to summarise from downstairs.
The Warriors are a great football team. They are right up to their nostrils in premiership contention, whereas the Brisbane Broncos, I'll let you know a secret. I know what's going on in terms of this review and what they're looking to do next year. I can't tell you who it's going to be, but they've got a couple of specialists that are going to come in and be part of the defensive setup for next year. Madge has been doing it this year. The person they're bringing in, I think, is going to make a big difference to this club, put it that way.
Okay, thank you, Zane. As always, your efforts right across the day, and you're back tomorrow on the NRLW call for the game in Townsville, so looking forward to that. Broncos slumping to 6 and 15 now on the year. They'll stay in second last, Billy. 8 straight losses now at home. They've now lost 12 of their past 13 games overall this season, so that's sort of underlines the year that they're dealing with here. The Warriors have now beaten the Broncos in their last 4 out of their past 5 here, but give the Warriors their flowers. 7 tries to 1. Tries scored to Jacob Laban, Chanel Harris to Vita, Alfiana Khan Pereira, all in the first half. Then it was Charles Klugstar, Dylan Watneza-Lesniak in the second half, Ali Leotawa and Leka Halasima versus just the one try for the Broncos at Xavier Willison. Luke Metcalf kicked 2 successful conversions from 3 attempts, ended his hammy. Chanel Harris to Vita was 4 from 6. He had 2 conversions, 2 penalties. And Charles Klugstar was sin-binned. More on that in a moment. Who are your 3 best players in the ABC Player of the Year, Bill?
I gave 3 to Chanel Harris to Vita. I thought he was superb. He lost his halfback early on. Didn't miss a beat. A try assist. Took over the kicking. 17 kicks for 524 metres. I thought he basically steered the machine around and did a wonderful job too to Mitch Barnett. And if you remember what in the interview that Zano had with Harris Tavita, he complimented his middles, and we talked about during the call how they own Main Street. And you got to think the opposition had Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan, Xavier Wilson, so no mugs, but these guys own the middle. Mitch Barnett, 20 carries, 154 metres, 65 post contact, 32 tackles. Aaron Clark, I gave him 1 point. I made mention there that I think there's a bloke that runs harder. As a small forward that he does, 16 carries, 126 metres, 47 post contact, 24 tackles, all in 51 minutes. I thought he was wonderful, and that's when the game was won. I think at 55 minutes they were leading by 36, and the Broncos came back after that, and he came off the field. So they won the middle, 85% completion, and Spree just the meterage. The Broncos ran for 1,150 odd metres. The Warriors 1,600. So 500 more metres. It's just a side that makes you realise, and Zano mentioned about up to the nostrils in their contention to win this title in 2026. There's no reason they won't do that, and they're more likely going to have 2 home semis, but they will have to come across the ditch to win the title.
To win the grand final, of course. You can't win it from Auckland, but that I haven't got the data in front of me, but certainly getting 2 home finals and double chance goes a long way to the grand final on the best possible path to taking on, who is it, the Roosters, the Panthers. We'll see how it all looks in a few weeks' time as far as that finals bracket. So your three best were Chanel, Harris, Tavita with 3, 2 for Mitch Barnett and 1 to Aaron Clark in the ABC Rugby League Player of the Year. So next week, Warriors are away to Souths. That's at Stadium Australia in the Saturday 5:30 game. Then they've got Newcastle at home at Mount Smart. Then they've got Manly at home as well. So 2 home games to finish the Warriors, which is certainly something. Broncos away against Canberra. Then Melbourne here at home. Then Canterbury away.
They quite likely could lose all 3 if they play the way we just saw. They could lose all 3 because Canberra had a massively disappointing year for mine as well. But they've been thereabouts. They lost last week. They won this week. They had a good win earlier on against Cronulla, which is quite. It gives the Cronulla campaign looks like it's got the wobble spree at just the wrong time.
Yeah. Look, from what I can gather, I've sort of canvassed, our text messages. I looked at social media. No one's defending Charles and Cook-Stars tackle there on Reece Walsh.
Yes.
What's an adequate sanction for the Warriors fullback?
Minimum 2, probably 4. It'd be in that 2 to 4 zone.
Yeah. If you're looking at examples where hip drops, be it accidental or incidental, have been, given 3 or 4 weeks, that's probably in the 3 or 4 weeks at least.
I would think so. Yeah, 2 would be very light. So what does that mean? It means
they might draw a line at the last, say, okay, end of the season. So 3 games and he's back for finals. I know it sounds weird, but they might just think, okay, that's enough. End of regular season and he's back for the finals. But
I think one thing will come into the play there is how bad is the injury to Reece Walsh, whether it may be season ending as well. So I think you're right. It'll basically mean that we won't see Klodstad until finals.
Do the Broncos lack leadership? I mean, Adam Reynolds, we may see him back for one last game. I think he, as I said, might have made peace with the fact that might not happen. Of course, the idea is that they are auditioning Tom Duffy for that lead number 7 role next year. But where do things fall apart for the Broncos? Of course, losing's a habit. So you've lost, 12 or 13 games now, 4 in a row since their last win, and haven't won a game here at home in their last 8 starts at Lang Park.
That's stunning.
Yeah. So is it leadership? What is it?
I think it's a combination of factors, but first and foremost, it's the process, the simple things, the 1%ers. Their completion rates are poor. Their decision-making defence is not right. And every time they build a little bit of momentum, they're the ones that pop their own balloon through mistakes. And when you remember last year, Spriggy, they had that great run at the back end of the year, and they were giving away 14, 16, 18 points lead. But when they switched on, they got into the groove, they stayed there. They just can't seem to hold the pressure in 2026. I talked about the 1-2 punch, Carrigan and Haas. We haven't seen that all year. I'm not sure where that's disappeared to. And obviously, the older players are 1 year older, and I do agree with I saw some comments by Joey that I just don't think their pathways, the flow through of players, it doesn't seem to have a pattern to what they're trying to achieve.
Meanwhile, the Warriors, they are equal second, trailing the Panthers by 10 points on for and against. So I mentioned the Warriors run home. Panthers have got, in these next 3 weeks, Melbourne away, Canterbury, and the Tigers at home. So they can put a score on those 3 teams, the Panthers, and kick ahead of the Brisbane, ahead of the Warriors, and thwart the Warriors' attempt at finishing second. But that's how it looks on the ladder at the moment. So Roosters are a game clear on top. Panthers, Warriors second. Finns a game behind them.
The Finns, what do they finish with? Because obviously they're looking to push their way and stay in the top 4.
Dolphins, Para, Roosters, Gold Coast. Mixed bag.
Yeah.
Should beat Para and Gold Coast. And then the Sharks, of course, they've fallen apart too. Let's get to that actually, because Braden Trindle's shoulder injury further marred another loss for Cronulla Sutherland, and you can't help but question their credentials off the back of the loss last week. Yes, the top 8 is all but locked up, but the Sharks' real premiership tilt takes a big hit. We'll get to all of that. Let's get the summary of the game with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and Michael Carianis.
Spriggy, it was a thoroughly entertaining game. You thought for most of it that Cronulla was going to win the game because their attack created plenty of opportunities, but a huge problem for the Sharkies, a dislocated shoulder suffered by 5'8" Braden Trindle in the 6th minute when he crossed to score a try. It was the first try of the game, but he instantly indicated he was in trouble with that shoulder and went straight through the tunnel, not to return. In the end, Cronulla started magnificently. They led 8-0 in no time, but then Canberra scored 2 quick tries in the first quarter of the game to Xavier Savage and Owen Paddy, and they were back on track. Jed Stewart added a try in the 33rd minute. Teague Wilton hit back for Cronulla. Anyone's game at the break, 18-14 Raiders. 1 try apiece in the second half. When Will Kennedy scored in the 51st minute, Cronulla hit the lead 20-18. But then that only lasted 6 minutes before Joe Tarpany, a magnificent individual try from a front rower, put Canberra in front to stay 24-20.